Nomad at night, starring the one and only Nomad.
Ho, damn ho. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everybody out there in this YouTube space. All you Nomaniacs, Super Nomaniacs, every last one of you, all of you Sports Chicago stylers, all you guys, man. Hey, Merry Christmas and happy holidays early from the people over here at the Nomad Network. And this image you see on the screen is real, man, on behalf of the Nomad Network and also Sports Chicago style. Just want to say thank you all for every bit of your support, for supporting everything that we do, everything that we cover, all of our podcasts. Thank you all. Can't say it enough, man. We really, really, really appreciate you guys. And in the spirit of the evening, since it's a free show, this is normally a members-only show, but we open it up to the public in spirit of the holidays. And, somebody's in good spirits down there at the bottom of that picture here. As you can see, Trip feels like trying his luck with Big Keisha today. She got a whole bucket of chicken. And I don't know how this is going to turn out, man, but it ain't looking good. I'm looking at the facial expressions and all, man. I don't know. Now, messing with a big woman when she got a whole bucket of chicken trips might not be the best thing in the world to attempt on these holidays, man. But
it's all good because that chicken with them crumbs, the crumbs be falling down. That's like a tasty treat, little snack later. It's like, ooh, look what I found when you down up in there under them fat rolls and stuff. And when that grease is like lotion. But baby oil, but like the flavored baby oil, no diddy, and it tastes good, and so it's like, and it just makes you want to keep your face all up in the place.
Man, dude, you trying your luck, man. I wish you luck because you're gonna need it. You get too close to her with that chicken, dog. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna catch a case, mess around with you, man. You might catch one as well, man. But hey, man,
don't sleep when she take the drumstick to the head and just come back with nothing but bone, all that meat gone. It's like, oh Lord.
Come back with memories, huh?
Make you want to go to the toes.
Look at what show I was doing today. I really needed to eat something before I started this damn show because I'm hungry. And it might be a little horny too, but that's a whole other story.
That's why you give me just a little something to just because you know how when we get going and we start talking about the Bears and it's the holidays and we're gonna be here for a minute, so you got to power up.
Got to definitely power up before you come on to the show. I'm learning that, man. But hey, look. To give you a little rundown of what we're going to talk about. Of course, what you've seen on the screen and on the thumbnail, and that is really what went wrong, man. We're going to have that conversation and a bunch of details involved with that because I think it's some specific things that we need to talk about as far as that goes, man. This whole thing with the coaches search, the GM search, and even I got some nuggets for you guys, man. Some pre-draft teasers, man. Some guys I've been checking out and scouting. Don't leave because you're going to want to see that. Showed you guys already one guy earlier in the week, Jonas Savanea. Showed you guys him, but I got a couple of more for you guys. I think they're going to be a treat for you guys that don't know who these guys are, you're going to be like, okay, Nomad, yeah, I see where you're going with this. But anyway, stick around for that. Let me pass it on to my guy from Canada, because Canada, for some pleasantries before we get started.
Well, it's a Wednesday. You know what we do here on Wednesday. We chop it up free as a bird without holding back. Talk all kinds of smack, and that's what will be done here on Extra Sauce. So welcome in. I'd give a whole bunch of shout outs, but it's early into the show. Only a couple of heads out there, and one of those heads happens to be with us here right now. That being said, shout out to you, Joseph Archer, and me. And we'll keep it rolling down to my guy, Triple R. What's poppin', my brothers?
Chilling. Nice to see everybody. That everybody's able to make it, and everybody will be pulling up. Shout out to Coach Tripping, Chef Trips and Trip, the crew over there at Sports Chicago style, doing their thing. Big up to all the Nomaniacs, and just everybody bearing down and clawing up or whatever the hell that shit is.
So, hey, look, let me start it off like this. And we got Crooked Commish that joined us on Superflex the other day, man. He likes what we do when we talk about Bears, and I know he's got a mouthful, and we're gonna bring him in just a minute. Hang on in there, Commish, man. We're gonna get you on here in a second while we just talk around. Matter of fact, kids, I guess you guys is holiday in Canada. Matter of fact, this is something I've been wanting to ask you for a while. Because over here in America, we call your kind of bacon Canadian bacon, right? I just want to know, do you all call that kind of bacon or ham or whatever the hell you want to call it Canadian bacon? Do they say the same thing over there, or is it just bacon?
Well, we know what it is. We're not stupid. You know what I mean? We know it's pea-meal bacon is what it actually is. That's what it is. We call it Canadian bacon just like you guys call it Canadian bacon, but we eat the regular ass bacon too. You know what I'm saying? So in Canada, we as far as bacon is concerned in general, it is well accepted in all of its forms. I think bacon is definitely an important staple of Canadianhood if you are a pork eater. If you're not a pork eater, then disregard everything that I just said.
So, while we're talking to you, man, before we go around the trips, man, what is the plan for you for the holidays, man? What do you got going on? Anything special, or just trying to ride it out? Well, what you got going on?
Yeah, duck, deflect, dodge, cartwheel. That's sort of my, probably barring the cartwheel part. That's my general holiday status at this point. When the kids were young, it was like, let's get into this. Go buy everything at the store, throw all the awesome stuff that I couldn't have as a kid or provide. Well, my parents couldn't provide for me. Get all that, give that to my children and my niece and my nephew. Yeah, Uncle Matt's a little bit old now, so so are his kids. They should be able to buy their own things. I can buy my own stuff. Ain't nobody really buying stuff for me. So, I just generally try to avoid people and not enter into some level of rip-roaring, monetary fueled argument.
So what's the business on like this year? Like for us, and I know in my family, man, I think it's a fish fry going on. I'm in a group chat having a family fish fry, and the spirits. What kind of you going? I'm gonna probably overdo it with the spirits. I ain't gonna lie to you. I do it every year, man. And what you got going on, man? You got anything on tap? Anything that you want to get particular this year as far as spirits go?
Nothing too special really in the holidays, man. I try to keep it simple. It's going to be some level of rum, because the rum can also be poured not just in orange juice like as per normal, but it can also be poured into
eggnog.
An eggnog, right? So I try to lend. I generally lend towards a spiced rum, so Appleton spice. Even a Kraken would be nice with some. With some eggnog. So that's if we're talking drinks, that's how I'm lining it up on the holidays.
What say you, Tritz? What's the modus operandi for you this year?
Just getting together. As you get older, well, not everybody, but I guess maybe, your family gets not only maybe smaller because people passing on and not as many children being born, or because of you're not going to like this side of the family, going to that side of the family, it's the in-laws, or it's split up. So it's never like it was when in your youth. Shit changes. What are you gonna do? So usually tradition, as you just end up doing the same shit every year just because that's what you do. We would go to Christmas Eve church, and it's like I sit in the car and I wait, for my shorty and my cousin, go in there and do all that. I call me pagan, heathen, or whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit. But I'm down with the spirit of the season. You know what I'm saying? It's not the religious aspect to me as some. And like the whole Santa Claus thing, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. So it's cool when a white man come in your house and he leaves shit. That's cool. So you get your gifts for like your immediate family, and it's like, oh, yeah, I got that shit a month ago, got it knocked out, and you got to worry about it. And instead of like being here this year, we're going out to Colorado, out there and get like an Airbnb and shit. And so, cooking shit out there and just spend a few days over the holidays and then come on back. So, it's going to be a different celebration this year as we will be out of town, but it should be fun. And as long as you're with the people that you love, that you care about, whether you're related to them or not, it's all good. And the people that you are related to, and you're not with them, and if you don't like them, fuck them. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do? So I mean, it's gonna be chill. It's gonna be fun. Looking forward to it.
So Ralph Love is already here. He's here for the football talking. Don't go nowhere. We're gonna get to that right away, right now, Ralph Love. But before we get right into it, let me bring my guy Crooked Commish on to some extra sauce for the first time, very, very first time. Thank you for coming back on, man. I appreciated you when you were on, man. You was representing on there, man. So really, really appreciated that. While we in that conversation about holiday stuff, man, what you got cooking, man? What do y'all do over there in the Commish household?
Well, usually we kind of travel. We either go to my wife's, family. We kind of alternate either there or my parents. So I'm over here in Arizona. So my family's about 2 hours away. So this year we're going to go travel to them and eat all like the kind of good shit that us Mexicans like to eat, tamales, pozole, a menudo, taco, you know what I mean? So all that good, unhealthy shit.
Coquito.
A little bit of that. Yeah, a little bit of that. Yeah, for sure. And then hopefully, the Bears don't ruin, my Christmas too much. The next day we have to get to watch them go against Seattle there. So hopefully, like I said, it's not too bad of a beating, or maybe we get lucky and we pull something out of our ass, or Seattle gives us a gift. So we'll see.
That's cool though, man. You out west, so you ain't dealing with weather or nothing like that, man. It gets pretty stagnant around here, especially in these next couple of months. And really, I look forward to it, man. Be honest with you, because I'm so damn busy in the spring and summer. I'm a gardener, got a lot of yard work I got to take care of. My mother and grandparents have property, and they ain't cutting no grass and trimming no weeds and nothing like that. So I keep my hands full in the summertime, plus trying to do all this stuff over here. So I'm actually enjoying the season. I'm into it more than I normally am. And really, I'm a last minute shopper. I don't know about you fellas, man, but I'm always waiting to the last damn minute to do what I need to do. I don't know what my damn problem is, bro. Somebody help me out, man.
Man, to make matters worse, we're having Canada's all messed up right now. I'm just saying we're having a mail strike, a postal strike right now. So stupid ass me, my niece's roller skates are on sale online. So I buy them shits. They're supposed to be here like a week and a half ago. I'm still waiting. It's ridiculous, y'all. But
hopefully they get here in time.
What was that?
Minister, hopefully it gets to you guys in time.
We'll see.
The minister wants to know where you are in Arizona, man. What part?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, Phoenix.
So it's more specifically Peoria, Arizona, which is like maybe about 15 minutes away from Cardinal Stadium. So,
okay, I got several homies out there. One of my uncles was just living out there. It was too hot for him. He bounced after about what? I think that cat wasn't even there 6-7 months.
The heat is no joke. The heat is
man.
No joke.
He's just like, man, he said that's a different kind of heat out there. He said I wasn't expecting that. Shit was dry.
Oh, yeah.
I will trade you anytime, bro. Anytime, I'm up for the trade. I'm just saying.
Let me see. It wasn't Minister Charles.
Sick of this bloody snow out here in Canada. It's killing me.
Mr. Charles.
I mean, hey, that's how I became a Bears fan. My family, my dad's from Chicago originally, and they were sick of the snow, had to get, wanted to get somewhere warmer, and landed in Arizona, cheaper than California, as of course. So, and then just growing up as a kid, watching him watch Bears games, Bulls games, Blackhawks, and all that, it just kind of rubbed off.
You see that? I feel you, Daddy. I feel it because this is cold. The snow is for the birds, and not even the birds because those motherfuckers fly south. So but I don't see the going from one extreme to Arizona where it's like the devil's asshole in summer and it's hot as fuck. And it's like, I'm not. I ain't built for that shit. And then you got the slithery critters all up in your shit. And it's like, tarantulas and shit. It's like cockroaches. All right, we can deal with like cucarachas. We can stomp on them. That's all right. You turn the lights on, those motherfuckers run. But you go out in the desert when it's 125 degrees and you got tarantulas and rattlesnakes all up in your bed. Like, what up, nigga? And it's like, no, that's a little much for me.
Hey, so, do you know this? Do you know of this bald head barbecue Minister Charles speaks of?
I do not, but I'm very curious about it now. So I will look that up and I'll check that out. Hopefully, it's not too far from me. And I like barbecue, so hell yeah, I'll go check it out and stuff, and make sure I leave a Yelp review for your brother as well. I also want to give a shout out to Frank that just popped in there. He's a co-host of mine that we do at the Chicago Clubhouse Network. Asked some of the guys to come in here if they could to kind of show some support and talk Bears football. We always love to talk Bears football and stuff. So thank you, Frank, for tuning in.
Frank the Tank.
Appreciate the love, Frankie baby. Appreciate the love, man. All right, man. So let's not waste folks' time, man. Let's not waste folks'
house slippers. You can't put on your house slippers because scorpions up in there. I see you scrolls.
Yeah, man. I hear about stuff like that. I just can't imagine it, man. I'm so glad. People complain about this weather out here and the climate when it gets cold. But man, one thing I do appreciate this is after living in Atlanta, the warmer the climate is, the more like nature invades your space. You know what I mean? Like you got to deal with certain stuff when it's a warm climate out there, man.
This is what I'm cluing into. I'm like, man, I'm dreaming of like some warm place in Triple R. You just ruined it, bro. You pooped all over their scorpions. Most of my family's from Jamaica, so most of my family kind of figured out at some point they could make American money and also experience Jamaican weather in Florida. So they all just moved to Florida. Everybody is kicking in Florida. So I tend to go regularly. There's lizards everywhere. There's alligators and shit. I don't want nothing to do with all of that. I don't. I just want the weather. I don't want any of that. I don't want that.
Critters.
I got to deal with all this freezing cold business. Sick of that too. Bears.
I'm okay with it. I made my peace with it, guys. I have made my peace with it. I can deal with a few months of cold and slippery and all that kind of stuff just to not have to deal. Like you can go places where your damn mortal life can be in danger, like in Florida. They got Burmese pythons out there that can just pop out of the trees or the bushes, grab your ass, and that's it.
They'll just wrap you up, bro. I don't need any of that. I'm trying to I don't know. But one thing's for sure, I'm had it up here with this damn snow, man. I'm just saying, maybe like I might even accept the pythons at this point. Giovanni Giorgio, happy birthday, dog! Big shout outs to you, Giovanni.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Happy birthday, G.
Giovanni.
Oh, Giovanni! Happy birthday!
Yeah, but yeah, I take you all take it and roll. You know what I mean? It's like I'm cool with it. I know how to drive in it. Shit don't bother me. It's just in these months I don't have to do as much damn work. I can just chill and get a whole lot of shit done, because it's pretty stagnant. Ain't nobody really hanging. They're still out there right now, but in the next couple of months, it's gonna get bad around here. And ain't nobody hanging out, man. Everybody getting fat and sitting at the crib, chilling, doing their thing, man. But yeah, man. I take, like I've seen videos of people taking little nature walks out in the Arizona area, out in the mountains and stuff like that, in California and places like that. Just out there just trekking. I don't know why the hell people feel the need to be cruising around in wild ass mountains for no damn reason. Damn bobcat jump out on them or a damn mountain lion or something. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
The mountain lion don't get you. The heat stroke will. So I don't do the mountain climbing stuff or stay out.
Well, I'm saying not even mountain. You saw that movie with the bear and the Alaska and the wolves, and it's like you a human being and you ain't nothing but dinner to them. You ain't nothing but meat.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying? They say you
Yeah,
coming
but
oh, we gonna eat tonight.
But you see, like the one thing about Canada is like, like we don't like being outside when it's like real Canadian. So we just stay inside. So we don't really mess. We don't see no bears. We don't see none of that. They're out there. They're out there. We don't see none of that. But anyways, I need to go outside into warmth, into a warm area. I hate this country. I'm sick of it. You know what? I would move out west though. I'd move out to BC. BC's dope. BC's warm. I'm just on the wrong coast.
Man, dude. It is I'm not complaining about nothing. I ain't worried about my natural life when I walk outside and walk to my car or take a walk in the park, take my animal out to the park. I ain't worried about nobody attacking it, eating it. I'm good. So I'll just leave that there, man, because depending on where you live.
Did I mention the Coyotes? I didn't mention the Coyotes, did I?
Well, usually I got a big, huge dog, and I ain't worried about no coyote. Coyote worried about him, So
we usually got guns for that. Over here in the Wild Wild West, we can.
See, that's a whole different Wild Wild West, right?
It is. So you see a coyote, you go ahead and take that thing down if it's coming in your yard. So
do they actually come into your yard and stuff like that?
Bro, I see.
Yeah. If you're kind of in a outer area and not so much in the city of Phoenix, yeah, for sure. Especially if you have like little dogs like I do, they'll jump over a fence in your backyard and shit like that and take a pet. So yeah,
bro, they're out here in Canada. I thought it was like it was so funny, man, because my whole life grew up watching a fair amount of Looney Tunes, as did many other children of my generation. I thought the Coyotes was from like where you're at, bro. I thought they were from Arizona.
Desert, bro.
My dude, there's Canadian coyotes, bro. They're out here. I'm just saying.
Call those wolves?
No, I've been seeing a wolf. I seen a fox. I seen a coyote, and like, what? Like, there's one word that totally defines the coyote. Are you guys familiar with the word? Triple R, if I asked you to describe a coyote, what word would you use?
Cunning?
No. Crooked Commish, what word would you use to describe a coyote?
Crooked?
Yeah, that's fair. But no. Nomad. What word would you use to describe a coyote?
Opportunistic.
Well, like that's a super fair word to use, but that's not the word that I'm looking for. The word is mangy. Mangy. They are 100 billion% the definition of the word mangy. They really are. Bro, I was cooking on my barbecue. My neighbor came through and I made fun of her. She came through. She's like, yo, there's some coyotes in the area messing with the kids. Be careful with your kids. Don't have your kids out. There's coyotes. And I was like, girl, Wile E. Coyote live in a desert. Like, I went through this whole spiel with her. There ain't no coyotes in Canada. I live in Canada my whole life. I've never seen no coyotes. Ain't no coyotes out here. Lo and behold, dog, I'm out there barbecuing in my backyard. And I look up the street. No word of a lie. Mangy ass coyote just skipping up my street, bro. Just skipping up the street.
Mm-hmm. Saying, hey, bro, what you cooking?
Mm-hmm. I was just doing up some steaks. He wasn't paying me any mind. He had some other things going on, but mangy coyotes in Canada, be careful.
Well, don't sleep on the predators in the Midwest, because like you got one of those little shit dogs, or one of those little bundles of joy that you love. Don't leave them in the backyard, because windows and shit.
I'm sorry, Lee. Lee Team Kuma Armbar Queen. I'd rather trust a coyote than a cat.
I saw that. That was hilarious. That's true too. That's probably smart.
Not only that, not only that, Trips, you got to worry about the birds of prey and some of these.
The vultures, or they just be flying around hunting. And if you got kittens, or puppies, or those little shit dogs, don't leave them out in the open area, because they will get taloned the fuck up.
Yeah. And Minister Charles, they look exactly like jacked up German Shepherds, but they have that they have like that like greyhound hindquarters. You know what I mean? Like they ready to go, they ready to run. Anyways, enough about Coyotes, man. Let's talk about Bears.
Yeah.
I'll just preface this now and say that the Coyote conversation probably a hell of a lot more entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I like to, it's the holidays, fellas. It's the holidays, and I want to get my bad news out of the way first before we get to some good stuff. And here's the bad news. So what I'm gonna preface this conversation this way. This is how I'm gonna set it up, because I'm fresh off of a bunch of all 22 watching the film, and first thing I want to say is, it was a couple things during watching that film that I was extremely happy about and surprised that Thomas Brown, none of this shit's his fault, bro. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. None of this shit is this fault, and I know easily, quite conveniently, people would prefer to point the finger somewhere other than the quarterback sometimes, and sometimes it's not his fault. It's absolutely the offensive line, and when Waldron was here, you could attribute a lot of that to the play calling and scheme. Yes, indeed. But in this game, more times than not, I found Caleb to be the culprit. It was stuff drawn up. It was stuff designed for him to get rid of that ball, and the answers to the test were there. He just did not see it for whatever reason. I don't know if he's at the point where he's gun shy, and it was a certain part of the game where I can sense that he was really trying to compensate for what was happening on the left side with the rookie left tackle. You can kind of feel that while you're watching the all 22 as well. But the truth is, Thomas Brown, if you hear somebody complaining about what Thomas Brown did or didn't do, tell them they're full of shit. Thomas Brown called a really good game. Thomas Brown, he called a really good game. It was answers to the test all game long, and it was just, you have to be able to see it. Given whatever is going on in Caleb's mind and him not delivering on certain downs and distances, hitting his open shots downfield, the touch wasn't there, but that's one thing. I just wanted to put that out there. Also, Kevin Byard was a very pleasant surprise in the all 22. He doesn't get enough love, man. Kevin Byard is a dog, and if he wants to stay in Chicago, I bet damn well they better give him a contract, because Kevin Byard's a straight dog, man. He makes that defense right when it's wrong at times. If you notice, they didn't hit big, downfield shots against us, and that was largely due to some of the stuff that Kevin Byard's gonna never get credit for. But I'm gonna give it to him right here on the show. He's a standout on that defense, man. I just have to say that before we get into this. So, guys, we were sold. What's going on, Trips?
All right, I'm about to have aneurysm, all right? Because can I go first?
Go for it, man.
Shout out to the commission, to Kedz. Thank you for your acquiescence. And dude, I know that it's not fair to put it all on a rookie quarterback, even though you may have been or not been promised generational, whatever that means. But when you already know game 14, 15, whatever the fuck into the season, that your offensive line is shit, this is not new news. This is no new development. And over the course of the last few years, SEMO, what the fuck does he do here? Why is he still here? And what does he get paid for? That's a McCaskey plant right there, SEMO. That's another one of the motherfuckers that's family and all intertwined and shit. So no development from any offensive line prospects. You know what I mean? So whatever. So we know this. Thomas Brown coming in, cleaning up after the Flusas shit. And what can Brown do for you? Not leave skid marks. He can't fix this shit. This has been going on much longer than he's even been on the squad. The players may respect him as a human being and as a person, but they ain't listening to him as a coach. He hasn't had time to develop his coaching style as head coach. Guess what? When he was the offensive coordinator, Caleb was developing. The offense was moving the ball a little bit, even with the limitations of the offensive line. Okay, let's keep it going. Now he's head coach. He's got more responsibilities on his plate. He's down on the field where he would prefer to be in the booth if he's calling plays. And you got Beatty or whatever the fuck the offensive coordinator name gave, whoever the fuck he is or whatever he does. But what's the irritating part with all that said is every one of you, all y'all play Madden, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I heard nobody say no. So
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, so everybody in the chat, all the Nomaniacs, everybody that's watching on YouTube Live on the Nomad Network, make sure you like and subscribe. We see you. And make sure you visit Sports Chicago Style. That's your boy right here. Show some support. We all play Madden. And if we know that, well, we only got so much time, we got to get, the slants, the move the pockets, the quicker routes, and less of the horizontal left to right bullshit that we keep running, and move that shit down the field to back the defense off. And the frustrating part on top of that is, all right, we know the shortcomings. Why are we still calling these plays? But Caleb goddamn Williams, for the love of God, our franchise quarterback, that we took at number one, that we got a lot of faith in you, dog. We do. But you got to hit the open motherfuckers when they open. Because why are you still standing back there? Because I'm having flashbacks of when Justin Fields was here, and he goes back there and it's like, throw the ball. Please throw the motherfucking ball. But he wouldn't, and then he just run, and then he would be able to run athletically and physically do it. Cool. But now the flashbacks of why isn't this kid Williams just able to zip to the guys that are open? Don't keep going big game hunting, because guess what? Deep touch accuracy is suspect any fucking way.
It's all coaching trips. It's all coaching.
But then we see the plays when the guys are like Rome is breaking off deep. These guys in the middle like this. Kmet, who the fuck is he? We don't know. We don't see him. Tyler Scott got on the board, but it wasn't Williams. It was from T-Bag, so that don't even count. But DJ, he does his thing, but that's horizontal and the gadget plays, and it's like, Jesus Christ, he's a goddamn quarterback. Run some goddamn routes, figure this shit out, throw the goddamn balls and open guys. Why are we not doing?
You know what?
That's scary. Flus didn't like that. You can't throw it deep. That's scary. You'll turn the ball over, kid.
Not even deep. The move the sticks. The all 22 that Nomad was referring to. When you look from that, the who dog is that? Shut the fuck up.
No, listen. Let me speak to. Let me speak to a couple of things in the chat. Katrina's making a point, and I'm gonna kind of read what she said. She said, let's get real about this.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to yell. My pressure got up. I know,
that's what I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to stop you, man, so you can maintain. Why you pull head off and do all that good shit? Listen, Katrina Pullen is saying, let's get real about this shit. I told you guys in the preseason it was going to be a long year because of the offensive line. Rookie QB hell, he gets some blame. He came into the league cocky as hell. Now, I don't disagree with really none of what Katrina said, except for, I seen the cocky stuff when he was at USC, but I hadn't seen it since I've been here. I will say that. I do believe that I think this, man. This is what was sold to us, when they decided to change quarterbacks and draft a rookie with these guys that you see on the screen. These are guys and Trips and Kedz. We said this many, many times that we didn't see how the process or the formula could work with a rookie that's going to have to come in here and learn a brand new offense with a bunch of veterans that had set the tone the year before and were ready to win. Regardless of what you think about Justin Fields, the Caleb conversation, all that, just on its face, the formula didn't seem to make sense to me. But I was, just trying to be a good Bears fan. I went along with it just like everybody else. And we got what we got because, the frustrations of a rookie quarterback and the trials and tribulations that he had to go through ended up frustrating all four of these guys on the screen. Evidently, they are fed up with the whole thing. And so, this was going to be one of those situations for Ryan Poles where I said it and we all said it, not just me. We all said it. This better work. Mm-hmm. This better work. And we should see a whole lot more wins than we saw last year. But it has gone completely the opposite direction. And the question everybody wants to know is why. I think I just described it to you why.
Well, but you described it, but I don't. He's a rookie. I get he's a rookie, but it's like, dude, you got touched. Throw the ball to the open guy. Why is he like he shook? Why is he afraid to throw the damn ball to open guys? Why?
I think he just go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kmet. You guess.
I was just going to say, I think he just, at this point, he doesn't trust his eyes, what he's seeing on the field anymore. And it kind of becomes a perfect storm of like, okay, this play, you missed a wide open receiver. The next play, the receiver hit him right in the goddamn hands and he dropped the ball. And then the next play, there's a penalty. So it's just it's like a perfect storm of all the shit just blending together. And what, like Murphy's Law, what could go wrong is going wrong right now. And at this point, with him getting hit and sacked as much times, and a good quarter of that time, if not half of that time, is because he is holding the ball too long. Like we're all saying what you're saying of like, you need to fucking throw it. And it is flashbacks of what Justin Fields went through his first rookie year as well. So it's kind of like, and we all kind of have the same excuses of like, he's a rookie, it's his first year, gives him some time to kind of get his feet wet, get used to the speed of the NFL. And then, like I said, shit just didn't work out. We saw how it ended up finishing. But
hold on,
Let me give everybody a little.
Hold on. I know we got a lot of people on the show, but let me speak to something. Some of the one of the Super Nomad is saying. Minister Charles said, "Did you see how many times DJ was wide open?" That's another thing that keeps standing out when you watch the All 22 is how many missed opportunities. Whether it was missing open window throws. Missing deep shots, hole shots, when he finds a hole in his own, like that one, Keenan, I'm still scratching my head down the field. That's a pitch and catch. Easy peasy, but I'm seeing that too many times at this point. Like Caleb's no longer a rookie at this point in the season. Now, you played enough games. That stuff should be pretty simple for you and dialed in for you at this point. But it feels like he's not making the progression he needs to. And it's almost like he's going backwards. Is it just me? But does it look like he's getting into a little bit of regression?
No, he is. That's what it seems like to me.
So definite regression. There's other things that's at play here, I think, and I think you alluded to them when we were watching the game unfold. There was a couple of passes this week where, you could have fit maybe a fastball, but a low ball to a Romo Dunze or even a DJ Moore in certain cases. And he just doesn't even try that shit. He just flips the ball over people's heads for no good reason. He didn't even try. He didn't even attempt to pass in some cases. And when I say he doesn't attempt to pass, there is a pass, but that pass is it's not a catchable attempt at all. I don't understand what he's doing out there most of the time. There's wide open receivers. Roma Dunze was open in just a quick backyard football situation following him. All he had to do was just a quick little shuffle pass to Rome, and it's a couple of yards. But he decided to dance and winds up getting sacked, right? Like I don't understand a lot of his decisions. Are there reasons outside of can we point to other problems on this team? Yeah, there's a bunch of problems. Like the offensive line stinks, but I can't use that as an excuse for a backyard football play where it's just you, a defender, and Romo Dunze. How you couldn't see that? I don't know. You just need to get the ball.
The last game he played against Minnesota when we were watching this game live.
Oh, he was doing that kind of stuff in that game.
And he naturally just knew when to get out of the pocket and run and be his natural self and be Caleb. It's like
he was
for whatever reason, that guy didn't show up to the game. I was like, where did that guy go? Because a few times it's like, damn, dude just stuck.
Well, he was in the game, but it's just, again, it's the actual passing portion of the game that has now become a problem. And that was the problem that we were hoping to fix by drafting this guy, right? And when I say the actual passing has to occur, right? He has to actually make a pass. The ball doesn't come out of his hands. It doesn't, right? So if the ball's still in his hands, there is no pass. And unfortunately, he winds up on the ground. But then there's the other weird stuff like, oh, we're just going to throw this ball into the back of the end zone because I can. And the play that I'm describing is the play where you were like, hey, like, is he like just throwing, is he just throwing this game? Or like, I don't remember what you said, Nomad. It was something along those lines, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Say it again. What was it?
There's just one play where Rome is on the right-hand side. There's two defenders there, but there's room between Rome and the pylon where Caleb could have tried a shot, and instead of trying a shot, he just flips it over everybody's head into the end into the stand.
That was a touch pass when he's got basically a corner throw. You throw that in a place where only the defender can get it, so it's got to be high and wide. You know what I mean? But you throw it with amount of touch on it. Back pylon. Yeah, it at least gives the receiver a chance. If nothing else, he can one-hand that thing, but the defender can't get to it. But they practice those bucket shots like that every day in practice. I know they do. Even high school dudes do it. It's just in the moment, for whatever reason, he probably hits them all damn day in practice. All damn day, probably 10 for 10 every time they go for it, every time they do it and rep it. But for whatever reason, he's not pulling that stuff in the game.
He's shell-shocked. He's definitely nervous. Like, there's no other word to use at this point to excuse the first half debacle. I don't care what anybody else wants to call it. He's nervous as all. Remember, I don't get nervous. My dude, you're nervous as all hell. There ain't no, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what you want to call it. But come to, as soon as the kickoff happens, you got to shake that shit out. You got to shake it out, bro. Because
I cringed at that part, saying that I don't get nervous. Just like when Justin was like, when they asked him the speed of the game during preseason, he's like, it's actually kind of slow. Actually, it wasn't that fast at all. I was like, move relatively slow, and it's like, oh, don't say that now. It's only the preseason. They're throwing vanilla shit at you, and you're fucking saying like, oh, this is the best ice cream in the world. And it's like, no, you don't think this is going to get harder? You don't think it's going to be more complex defenses and shit? And yeah, sure enough, it wasn't as easy when it came to actual games.
I think my main, just after watching everything, just looking at it and trying to come to the podcast and give you guys the best evaluation I know I can based off of what I see. I'm not. You guys can tell I'm not a numbers guy. I'm not an analytics guy. Don't tell me nothing about how much, what Caleb's throwing percentage is, what his quarterback. I don't give a damn about none of that. I look at the plays on the field, the game. And at the end of the day, for whatever reason, this didn't work, man. And there's a reason why. And I don't think this is a coach. He's not a quarterback coach away from fixing this shit. This thing is way bigger than the quarterback. And I don't want this offseason to turn into who's the best fit for Caleb Williams, who's the best coach to take care of Caleb Williams. No, we got bigger issues, bro. We got bigger issues than Caleb is one thing. And of course, get somebody in there that can really help assist him in his growth. But if you think for 1 second, bringing in the best offensive coordinator is going to fix what the fuck is wrong with this team, I got some breaking news for your ass. It ain't. Telling you that right now. It's more than that, way more than that. We're a culture. We're key, like blue chip pieces. We're a direction away from, being where we need to be. And I don't think, I just don't think everybody wants that new bell and whistle that everybody's talking about out there. Ben Johnson. You think if he's going to come in here, unless he brings, I said this many times, unless he brings that offensive line over here from Detroit with him, he's going to suck. Trust me when I tell you. That only works in Detroit because of that offensive line. I'm telling y'all, this situation is not a head coach away from being fixed. I'm telling you.
Wow. So we'll get into all the problems throughout as we move forward, I'm sure. But let's do the world a friggin' solid and maybe look at some potential solutions. Because I'm not really sure if there are any. I'm being real. So let's start brainstorming here at this point, because The stuff people want to talk about is Mike Vrabel. Okay. Maybe he's just the fiery type of guy that we need, maybe. But let's all recognize now, he really hasn't done anything in the NFL by way of being a head coach. He also got fired too, right? So just want to put that out there now. So if we're all claiming, let's go Mike Vrabel, we've kind of seen Mike Vrabel. He's a thing. Is he the thing for the Bears? I don't know. We'll see. Ben Johnson. You just mentioned Ben Johnson. I don't know. You're bang on. He's rocking with the best offensive line in the league right now, and he still struggles at times. Like we watched this past week, right? We watched him crumble against us in the second half. Do we want Ben Johnson? I don't know. Do we want Joe Brady? I don't know. Very similar answers. You got the number one quarterback in the league at the moment. Is that on you or is that on Josh Allen? I don't know. I'm not so sure if I trust that situation. This list gets pretty long here, right? With the questions and the I don't knows with respect to the coaches. So, are there any guys that you guys are thinking of outside of the folks that that have already been established? Because all of those guys that have been established have question marks associated with them.
Check out the screen, sir. This is courtesy. Now I'm giving a shout out to Kedz because he inspired me to do this one in particular. So I did this one just for Kedz, and I'm gonna partly talk about this really quick and say, I've seen it happen a handful of times in my life, and that franchise, whether it be football, basketball, whatever sport it is, it will. I'm gonna put you on mute for a second. They have made mistakes and owned up to their mistakes and gone kind of retraced their steps and hired and kind of fixed something that they may have or may not have messed up. And what am I saying about what I'm seeing on the screen? Do I think the Bears will actually go and say, you know what, this worked before, let's do this again? Do I think they'll do that? Probably not, but it's not unheard of. And so, what we're asking for is leadership and some people that can come in and set the tone. We know what these guys can do. And so shout out to Kedz for giving me this idea and this thought. And I just wanted to throw this out here to the No Maniacs and the Super No Maniacs just to check the temperature and see how people feel about this conversation here. But go ahead, Kedz.
Would you throw that to me or Trip?
Go ahead, Kedz.
I thought you said I heard Trip. My bad. So we're looking at Riverboat Ron. We're looking at Lovie Smith. I'm gonna throw another crazy name into a very similar hat for similar reasons, and that name is Olin Kreutz. I know Olin Kreutz doesn't have the head coaching tenure that these guys have, but let's also sort of recognize that the other guys, the three guys I just mentioned, outside of Vrabel, don't really have head coaching tenure either, right? So there is that. These two guys here have been head coaches in multiple places, positive and negative in both scenarios. Ron Rivera took a team to the Super Bowl. He did. Things were a little bit shaky in Washington, but hey, it's Washington. What more can I say? He'd be just fiery enough to bring over
quarterback. I would say he was missing the quarterback the whole time. Same as
that's
Love.
Really what he was missing in Washington, 100%. Right, you're right. He got the quarterback for a little while with Cam Newton, took him to the Super Bowl, and the things fell apart. Again, Riverboat would not be the craziest idea, although he's a little bit long in the tooth. My thing here at this point is there's a major part to this, and it's just that we keep going outside of the Bears organization to find somebody who gives a shit about the Bears and expecting them to. And I'm not sure if anybody really will or does. So the one time this thing actually worked was in 1985. And the guy that they wound up getting as a coach, his name is Mike Dick. And I asked that. I was throwing a couple of questions at Adam Rank during his show earlier today. I was like, which coach out there, I was like, why haven't the Bears ever hired an actual Chicago Bears head coach? And the answer to this question is they did. It's Ditka. Yeah, you're right. the one time it actually worked. Exactly.
Yeah.
So why are we looking at Mike Vrabel's and his bunch of rings for another organization? Right? We got guys here who actually give a damn about this organization, who actually have tenure and understanding about this organization that we could leverage and utilize in a positive way. And I go back to Olin Kreutz. My guy's vying to become a Hall of Famer. And when he speaks, you know he loves this team. There's no questioning that. I ain't saying he'd be the best head coach in the world, but one thing is for sure, my guy gives a fucking damn.
Yeah, and the other thing with Vrabel that I think people need to realize is, like, let me ask you guys, maybe you guys are a fan of him. Are you guys a fan of Josh McDaniels at all? Because that would more than likely kind of be the OC if Vrabel was to be the coach, or at least there's a good chance that Josh McDaniels would be the OC.
More importantly, what do you think about him? I know I don't think highly of him, but I might be biased. I know a couple of dudes that play for Bill Belichick. I'll just put that out there, and I might be a little biased. But go ahead. What say you, Commissioner?
I'm not that big of a fan of him. I'm like I don't trust him. I don't trust him. I mean, the fact of what he did with the Colts, and he didn't do anything impressive over with Denver when he had his opportunity as coach and whatnot. I get he would be the OC possibly, but like I would pass on that. That's nothing I'm not really interested in at all. I don't think his offense is really that inventive.
The whole, it's very confusing to me because, we look for our head coach to be our team, leader, obviously. And we want a fiery guy that will keep people in line. That'd be like leadership council. 18 motherfuckers on the leadership council. Yeah. No, we ain't doing that. If you got a problem, you got an issue, you come holler at me. Other than that, get your ass in the weight room. You know what I'm saying? That's it. If you got some players that might need a hug, because, not everybody gets a carrot, or some people need a carrot, some people need a stick, some people need a fucking hug. You know what I mean? Come on, yeah, you good, kid. All right, get back out there. Whatever. But that's the job of the coach to figure it out, I always thought. The head coach also was like, hey, I want my defense to look like this, so I'm going to hire this defensive coordinator. I want my offense to look like this, so I'm going to hire my offensive coordinator to do all that good shit. Let's run and win the Super Bowl. Let's get, these wins. And you be fiery, but you be smart, and you delegate the responsibilities. But that seems, very difficult to find in people because either they're like octogenarians, and it's like, yeah, we're not why don't we want a 72-year-old head coach? Get the fuck out of here. Or, they've been someplace and failed. And it's like, well, he failed there. Why do we want him here? It's like, well, maybe he learned his lesson. Yeah, fuck you. Or it's like they've never had the job before, so you don't trust them. And it's like, well, they don't have experience. It's like, well, how do they get experience? By failing and, by succeeding. We don't know until we hire them. And so now, on top of that, we have to have our offense or quasi defensive coordinators as head coaches, like the Thomas Brown thing that we mentioned a little bit ago. He was looking good as OC, but now he's got to be OC de facto HC, all that shit. And it's like, why can't we just have him focus on one thing? Now, with all that said, I guess it wasn't Joe Brady in Buffalo while Dayball was there. Yes,
I think so.
Yeah.
No, was he underneath Dayball? I think he was underneath Dayball.
I think you had a guy or two in front of you. I think Dayball had, I believe it was a blind guy right up under him, and then Brady right up under that guy. I think, but I don't know.
All right. So point being, Brady has been part of that offensive construction out there in Buffalo. And I'm not a stat guy. I just know what I've seen. And that Buffalo offense has been pretty fucking good for those years. Good enough to get Dayball, his job in New York, which, leave that alone.
Look how good it looks without the quarterback Josh Allen. The shit looks like trash.
Well, yeah, but if you look at the plays, the design, the concepts, mixing in the run, screens here, the deep shots there, over the middle here. Yes, you have Josh Allen that could run that, but the concepts of the fucking offense, that scheme, I personally like that scheme because it can exploit whatever kind of defense you're going against. And if you look at Buffalo's issue, the offense has been pretty good since Brady's been on that staff. The defense is always the one that usually lets him down. But if I want a head coach, I want somebody who is developed in a successful system, unlike Ben Johnson, who's like, yeah, you take away their offensive line, it's like, what are we doing? Are we still throwing passes with a right tackle? What the fuck is that about? I don't know. Vrabel, it's like, yeah, he's still living off the glory days. He ain't this shit. But I don't know. So, but I would prefer, I guess I would say Brady would be my guy if I had to hire him. But now who's hiring him? Is Paul's hiring him? We don't know. So it's like, I don't fucking know.
Let me throw 2 cents in and Trip, because I can't speak to this specifically, man, because I did study that offense. This is when, we were still out there, looking for that offense coordinator before Flus got here. People were talking about we need to bring in somebody for Justin. And, I studied that offense. I like it, but I know for a fact you need a more physical quarterback to run it because they do the mesh concepts and the quarterback will hold that ball and take that thing and run with it. And the way Josh Allen is built to do that. He's built and he's got the physical stature and he's got he's got everything you want to be able to pull that kind of offense off. Like Caleb in that offense, I don't think he's built for it. I really don't, man. I'm not saying he's a punk or nothing like that, but I don't think he's physically built to do what Josh Allen can do with that offense and make that offense dynamic. Because it would also be pretty vanilla without Josh Allen being able to make it dynamic because he can take that ball out and run up the field for 35 yards like it ain't shit.
So who looked good in the Joe Brady offense?
Who?
I said, who looked good in the Joe Brady offense?
Fucking Justin Fields.
All right, I guess
So then who would be that mentality that could work with the skill set of our goddamn franchise quarterback that we didn't take the Hall for, that could really have stopped this team with talent?
Oh God, here we are.
What you thinking, Commissioner? But you hearing a whole lot, man. Thank you for being patient. I know our guys are crazy on this damn show. Every last one of us are certified, in particular Trips. He's a goddamn maniac. You got to jump in over top of him sometime to get a word in edgewise.
No, it's all good. It's nothing that I'm not used to. The guys over at the Chicago Clubhouse Network, very animated as well. And, we got to get in when it gets hot. So, but I hate to go back in the past and kind of revisit it and stuff because there's just basically nothing we can fucking do about it now. It is what it is. But at the time, I was under I wanted to keep Justin just because of the fact that him and DJ's chemistry that first year together was just so good. Everything else, he didn't have much chemistry with too many of the other receivers, but him and DJ fucking clicked. And it's like, man, I really want to see another year of them together. It would be a shame to only just get 1 year of that shit and not give them another chance to build up. But being the situation that it was, and I think we could have gotten a hell of a lot more if we could have traded that 1 pick and moved back and getting some more picks for the future and whatnot, and then continue to build on that.
Commish? Why did you do it, Commish? Why?
Like I said, I hate to talk about the past because it's completely irrelevant. It really doesn't matter. It sucks that it happened, but it's just one of those things. I saw it coming though, because this is the GM, and most GMs want to bring in their guys, and Justin wasn't his guy. He had an opportunity to get his guy with the first pick there, and he traded back. He had the rare opportunity again to get the number 1 pick again. The chances of him, it's one of those things. If I don't take my guy now with the number 1 pick, when the fuck am I? If I pass on him and I'm wrong and I give Justin Fields an extension and he doesn't pan out and I'm out, I had the number 1 pick twice and I didn't get to pick my quarterback at all. He would be kicking himself in the ass. So that's why I was just like, I just saw that shit coming to where he's like, fuck it, I'm going to get my guy. And it is what it is. And now we're living with the results. So
I'm trying.
Yeah, so welcome to the Nomad Network Rookie Commission, and I'll start it off with we were definitely, at the very least, we were definitely vocal about our support of the idea of hauling the hell out of that first round pick. But here we are a year later, and I'm gonna put everything like this. Basically, my guy Ryan Poles kind of sold us a bit of a dream, and as he continued to sell us this dream, at multiple occasions we stopped and we were like, as fans, we were like, wait a minute, does this dream smell like a nightmare? And the more we slept, the more like a nightmare it started to smell like, and we kept asking, hey man, are you doing the right thing? And just looking at this picture alone, this little graphic, was it right to extend DJ Moore after get rid of Justin Fields and not knowing whether they had any kind of connection? I don't know if that was the right move. I'm not sure if it was the smart move to pay that guy at that time. And now we're season in, and I'm not so sure if that connection is there. Let's go to another guy in this thumbnail. They brought in a whole other superstar wide receiver who's building a connection with the quarterback, but he's not under contract. So he probably sort of just stole a whole bunch of targets from the guy that you paid and is supposed to be building a rapport with the quarterback, but enter Keenan Allen, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, let's pay the other guy on the far side there. We'll pay Cole Kmet too. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, except let's forget to use him and that he's here at all. Let's just completely forget about him, period. And this is my handiwork. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what's up with Ryan Poles as a whole, or whether he should do the stuff moving forward to get us a coach, whether he is the guy to do any of that stuff. But the more that I look at just the simple personnel that he's fielded this season, it hurts. It's painful. Only certain guys who are living up to their contracts, and these are things that, again, he put into place. And the guys who are living up to their contracts aren't the big-name guys you would think. We're talking about Kyler Gordon, who's on a rookie deal. We're talking about Jaquan Brisker, who's hurt. You know what I mean? We're talking about Kevin Byard, who's playing like a madman. You mentioned Kevin earlier. We're talking about TJ Edwards, who's got a regular, normal football player salary. Everybody else is kind of questionable.
Can I jump in here real quick, Kedz? Because Anthony Stewart he made me think of something. Thank you for this comment, Anthony. He said he's talking about Caleb and his ability to be able to adapt to another system. I have no doubt that he'll be able to adapt in another system. I know he's got the skill set to adapt to whatever offensive coordinator or coach comes in here. He'll be able to adapt to it. The question I have is, with a year lost, there's 3 players on this screen that's going to be here for a while. One of them probably likely not going to be here, and that's Keenan. But those other 3 guys just wasted. This is another year gone. This is another year wasted when they felt like they were supposed to surge this year. It's not about whether or not I think Caleb can adapt to another system. I wonder, do the fans? Can the fans wait? Because when another guy comes in here and changes this offense all around, the learning curve is definitely going to be there for Caleb. And it's going to take a couple of years. It's going to take a couple of years. I don't know that the fans are going to be patient enough to watch this. And I don't know that DJ. I don't know that Keenan. I mean, not Keenan, but Cole. I don't know if guys like that feel like they can wait. They just wasted a whole year in a year that they felt like they were supposed to be able to push for it. And truth is, do we as fans, do we have the patience to watch and let this kid keep going through growing pains with this now 3rd coordinator? You know what I mean? So it's more of a question for us than I think it is for Caleb. He will adjust if given time. But, do we feel like we can deal with that?
It shouldn't take that much time. Because look what's going on with the Chargers. How long did it take them? They were shitty last year. And so it shouldn't take that much time. Sure, take a little bit of time. Should it take 2 or 3 years? We've seen it in other leagues where it can be a quick turnaround. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't actually going. I was just venting, but my mic is right there. I'm not cutting you off. But yeah, go ahead, finish.
No, that's more or less it.
Okay, right on. Yeah, because it's. I was thinking as Kedz was talking that, it's not a revisionist history. It's not hindsight being 2020. As content creators, if you've been getting your product up for over a year now, we can go back and look at the tape, look at the video of what you were saying, when all these moves were happening, as they were happening. What was your take on it? Now we can look back and I was like, hey, was it a good tape? Was it a bad tape? And many of us, like you were saying, is like, it's not about Justin Fields per se for me. Now, to the locker room, it may have been. And to DJ, it was definitely. But to me, it was like, all right, look, Justin Fields is good. He's a good athlete. He's not the natural quarterback that you want, but the athletic skills and his quarterback ability is good enough to take the haul, fill out the rest of the roster that we see that there are still many holes that are not filled because, it was torn down just a few years ago. And we get the logic of the moves that he's made, but then it just didn't pan out. And you look at specifically offensive line, Nate Davis, you get this dude $30 million for 3 years. And he has his tragedy, and then that never happens. And then he gets his first love of the offensive line of Bates from Buffalo finally. And then wants him to start as center. He gets hurt before the season, so he is not out.
Wait a second while you're going. Something that Courtney Cronin brought up this week is that Ryan Bates has had a known shoulder injury for years.
Yeah, he can't lift his arm up that high.
Like, I heard her say this today, and I was like, "Oh man! Like, are you kidding me? You've been trying to get this guy on this team for like 3 solid years. You finally get him on the team.
Shit wasn't
And
bothering him.
everybody's been known he's been hurt.
Shit didn't
Correct. How
bother
did
him
you
when
not
he
know
was
his
in Buffalo.
medical?
It wasn't
Say
bothering-
what?
Shit wasn't bothering him when he was in Buffalo. I watched all that tape. He played his ass off in Buffalo.
I don't know, man. She said today known shoulder issue.
So he invested into damaged goods, just like he did with Karan Amagaji. Damaged goods.
Wait, but but his first move
And Larry Ogunjobi.
when he was in the back of the car crying for the first time of many. The fuck is that about? And didn't sign him because of his injury, but he's drafting injured guys, he's trading for injured guys, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? But you see the logic of saying, all right, you go for Chase Claypool. It's like, all right, we want that prototype receiver. He was good at Notre Dame, changed the scenery, blah, blah, blah. He gets here, he wants to be a fashion model, his flames out, bad move, cost a second-round pick, expensive, understood the logic at the time, and it was like, all right, yeah, he's a beast, but he wasn't. Looks like Tarzan, plays like a bitch. Some people are mad about that he let Roquan go still. I wasn't mad about that.
I'm mad.
I wasn't mad about that. There was logic behind it. I'm not trying to give you a record-breaking deal. I just got here trying to fix all this shit. And then Roquan did say he wanted out. So it's like, dude, all right, fuck it, be gone. And so whatever. But as we've gone along and we see the result of this, and then the politics going on with the McCaskies and the Flus connection and the SEMO and all of that shit going on. And then it's like, this is our result. And Poles is like, he's a first-time GM, so we knew we were going to have growing pains hiring him. And so are these the growing pains? And it's like, all right, he's got a team around him, Ian Cunningham and everybody else who've come from successful organizations. And so there's obviously a culture thing, a disconnect with what the fuck is going on that we're seeing out there, because he wanted his guy. So we get to Caleb and the team hasn't really bought into him yet, or he hasn't, they haven't gone camping yet and had to sleep together naked and trust each other not to have any.
Hey, Trips, the bottom line, and I'm not
There.
just everybody. Here's the bottom line,
different.
and so we can round this conversation off like this. There was a formula, as you see on the screen, and that formula was he was going to have to take a risk. Talking about Ryan Poles, he was going to have to make a choice whether or not. And I hate to keep going back to whether or not keeping Justin Fields was the right idea versus getting, all the draft pieces that he could have gotten to really bolster up and shore up this roster. The choice has been made, but he was gambling on a formula that he thought would work. And that is I can put a quarterback who he felt like was superior in talent in place of a quarterback that I didn't draft. And I think he legitimately felt like that this is an upgrade for the offense. He might have upgraded that quarterback skill set wise, maybe, depending on who you ask. I don't think it was a bad choice in that regard. But as far as considering the team dynamic and what you already have and the flow that they have and the culture that they were building, and it was surging towards the end of the year, through Justin's faults and his missteps and the way he played, they did have something going. He made the choice to replace displace Justin and replace him with Caleb Williams, a rookie who had to come in here and learn something new, and it cost him. And so this was supposed to go a certain way, and it didn't. Now, Ryan Poles, this falls on his lap because ultimately that was his choice to make that. He made the choice to let that quarterback go and forego all those pieces he could have got with the trade now. But this is the results of it. These are the results of it. These frustrated faces you see on the screen underneath him are real. It's coming out of them in different ways in the media and on the field. Like I was watching that game, I saw Caleb's body language, and when he laid on that ground and just laid there, I was so pissed off because not only that, he was on the sideline in his body language. Me being a guy on the field, I just saw that. If I'm one of those dudes on the team, I'm like, dude, don't you let me see you lay your ass there like that. Laying on the ground like that and laying over on the bench like that. Get your ass up. Everybody's fucking reading you. Everybody's reading you.
I don't know, man. To be fair, he did just take a shot to his ribs.
He hurt, bro. It wasn't just.
It wasn't like he was trying to look for his mama's boobies to cry.
I'm talking about over the sideline, dude. You can't, even if you hurt, you can't give that. You can't. That's the signal indirectly that you're sending to your teammates.
Maybe the signal was like maybe Karan could block him off. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you could block him, dude.
Yes, you understand.
I'm over here writhing in pain.
You can be in pain. You could be hurting, but there's a thing said by a lot of players like whatever is going on with you, don't let nobody know it. You know what I mean? Especially if you're at the quarterback because people are reading those signals.
Should he have gone to the blue tent? Say, I need to go to the blue tent so I can lay down for a minute.
You could have walked to the locker room if that's the case. You know what I mean? But to do that on the sidelines, I ain't gonna try to be overly critical of the kid, man. But that's one of the things I hope he learns from because everybody on that team is actually reading you.
Ouch!
Yeah, and I think one of the things I think we can all agree on, though, as far as we're talking about Poles' fuck ups here, his biggest mistake, whether it be Justin and Caleb and choosing between a quarterback, I think he sealed his grave when he kept the coach after last season. I think everybody on this panel, and I know everybody that I've talked to, was ready to let go of Eberflus after last season, and it was time to move on. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he had some kind of backdoor agreement of like, yo, this first year is going to be so bad, I won't hold it against you. Guarantee give you 2 years after that or some shit like that. But him doubling down on Eberflus there at the end of last season was kind of, I think everybody kind of looked at each other in the room like, this shit is not going to I don't know about this, guys.
Yeah.
And no Diddy on that backdoor agreement, by the way.
Yeah.
They had some
well, it didn't come with baby oil, so yeah.
Damn. Chicken grease, hook it up.
Look.
Where we are and where we want. Go ahead, kid. I see you.
Yeah, I'm trying to step through a mild minefield of Diddy references. I'm just we're at a point where I've lost. I think it was Mo Fugras in the chat just saying, like, I went from King Poles to like 50-50 at this point, and I'm kind of like right there too. I don't know what he did. Like, he messed all of this up, and I don't know how you fix it now. It's all bad. Like, it's all messed up. And what's really funny is we came into this season with high hopes, thinking like, hey, this team should be at the very least competitive. Oh, they're the furthest thing from competitive in the NFL. They're not competitive at all, which really, as much as we put stuff on on Matt Eberflus, at this point, it's just players out there playing with pride. They don't play for something. There ain't nothing showing up on the field. So at some point, you kind of have to look Ryan Poles dead in the face and be like, bro, this is the product you put on the field. And I don't know if you are capable of putting a better product on the field, man. Like, this is year 3 for you as well. We gave Matt Eberflus 3 years. This is 3 years for you too, dog. And we should be seeing at the very least just like, a team that is semi-competitive in football games at on a given Sunday. And this team ain't. They're just the furthest thing.
Well,
right.
If we're gonna go down the line of talking about whether or not Ryan Poles, and unfortunately we do have to have that conversation. It's not that I want to, but hold on the chat for a second, Nick, while I put this graphic up. Because we got to talk about this stuff. And so I'm going to say a particular shout out. I'm going to give a particular shout out to It's Crimson, you dig. I don't see him in the chat, but I got to make sure I shout him out for this one because I was totally unfamiliar with Ray Agnew. I heard about him. I think he was a former player. Yes, he is a former player, but came up under Les Snead with the Rams. He's been Les Snead.
Was he a linebacker?
No, I think he was either a linebacker or edge rusher or something. One of the two. I think on defense, man, so the story goes he came up under Les Snead with the Rams. Les Snead, of course, has been there since 2012, right? And he came up under him. He's got a little bit of a pro scout background, but since he's become the assistant GM, he does it all now. Pro scout, college scouting, the whole 9 yards. And I got to start this story off this way. And, his comparison, people compare him to Ozzie Newsome as a talent evaluator. And to me, other than Jimmy Johnson and that staff that they have over there, Ozzie Newsome is absolutely the cream of the crop when it comes to talent evaluators in history. I think he should go down and get a bust in the Hall of Fame just because his ability to be able to evaluate talent. That cat don't miss. Ozzie Newsome don't miss, and he's compared to Ozzie Newsome. He is now the assistant GM with the Detroit Lions. And there's a little story I got to tell you before y'all get started. So he was with the Rams back before, and I heard this story, and I couldn't help but to think about Aldo Gandia from the Barroom because I heard this story a couple of times. He's still pissed off about the fact that we did not select Aaron Donald. And I'm here to tell you, Aldo, if you listen to the show, I know you're doing your show right now, but if you watch this later on, if you ever want to know why we missed Aaron Donald. But this is the guy that stood on the table. This is per, reports out of LA. He stood on the table. They were really 50-50 and less than that on Aaron Donald on whether or not he would fit what they were trying to do. This guy stood on the table and made that Aaron Donald pick happen. And so his ability to talent evaluate, I'm hearing is elite. And if you ever want to beat your competition, you got to figure out how your competition got to that level. And I'm not saying that this guy is the epitome of why. You got to give the credit to their GM as well. But if you're going to beat your competition, I think there's an argument to be made that you need to start peeling your competition and getting part of your competition over to your side. And I don't know if that makes sense to you, Commish. I see you shaking your head, but you get where I'm going?
No, I do. I do. I think we try to do that with Luke Getsy and, didn't quite work out or whatever, where we try to peel a little bit something. But I understand the logic there, and it does make sense. It really does. So, I mean, you can't argue with his body of work and whatnot as well, and the leadership that he was kind of, or the wings that he was under. You look at their body of work, it's nothing to snub your nose at all. So I mean, unfortunately we can maybe learn from what the Lions are doing and maybe take a page out of their book.
You want to beat your competition, you got to start somewhere.
I wouldn't even look at it as big up Minister. Yeah, he played Agnew played defensive tackle. Knew his defensive line. He was a rough, tough motherfucker to go. I don't know if he's on YouTube, but he was nice. He was nice. But we took a chance on Poles being first time GM, and he wasn't even like the title technically, I guess, assistant GM. He was a scout or whatever the fuck that title is. But if first of all, being compared to Ozzie Newsome, that's a hell of a compliment right there.
Hell of a compliment.
He put together some, nice Ravens teams. He scouted nicely, and all of his draft picks was just like shit, nice. And you look at the last couple of drafts that the Lions have had and the things that they did trade-wise, they built a solid, team from the trenches out. That's why the offensive line is so good. And they made shrewd trades to keep, talent going in. And then they hired a, first-time former player coach that, is, might be on roids. I don't know. I ain't checking this piss. Are you? But, he's doing his things out there on the field, making the calls that he's making. But he has the respect of his players, until he makes too many calls and then they fuck up and then they ain't gonna listen to that shit no more. But I mean, he's doing what he needs to do, and they have a winning team now. And so if we're in a position that we're hiring a new general manager, we're not going to get somebody who's doing it because they already have a job. And if we get somebody else that they failed before, okay, what good is that? If this guy is his first time, but he's already assistant, so he's under a winning organization, a little bit higher than Poles was, and he's Lord forbid older than Poles was, and he made the league, unlike Ryan Poles. Not a dig, but just saying. And so bring him in. Shit, what the fuck? Let's roll.
And so before the next person goes, let me add this to the conversation. There is credible reporting out there that says, it's almost, they're saying it's damn near a done deal, but it's not a done deal yet. But the Jets brass are strongly moving in the direction towards bringing on him as their new GM and Aaron Glenn as the head coach to run that franchise out there. They want to build Detroit, East Coast Detroit, like Detroit 2.0 in New York. But that's out there. And so just to let you know, it's not like I'm just pulling this name out of my behind. I was given this by it's Crimson. He did one of the Super Nomaniacs. I did my due diligence on this, and I'm bringing it to you guys because I think he's a credible name to discuss.
Well, hold on. Before you go, Kedz, I just throw this out there real quick. Just say hypothetically, you bring in Agnew as GM. He hires, to give a shout out to Kedz, Leslie Frazier as head coach, who also does some de facto defensive coordinating. And then for us, offensive coordinator, they bring in somebody I haven't thought about yet. But go ahead.
So I don't know. Like if we're really talking about the Ray Agnew situation, cool. I don't like Ryan Poles is still here at this present time. This is a viable replacement, but I don't know what they do with this either. I have no clue. One thing is for certain. I would like it if Trace Armstrong had nothing to do with any of this new stuff moving forward. I'll put that out there. I know Ray Agnew's not necessarily connected to Trace Armstrong. I just did a little bit of a search on that. Feel free to do the same. But Trace Armstrong seems to have he's made a lot of money off of George McCaskey, guys. Like a lot of money. Right, so he's getting points on Matt Nagy, and for the most part, his entire staff, they all got flushed out. What did he do? He doubled down, got the new guys in there, Poles, Eberflus, And I'm wondering, like, there's one guy on his roster of clients that might actually make a little bit of sense, and I want to bring him up in discussion by way of head coach, and that is Lincoln Riley, USC. Caleb Williams. What do you guys think of the potential of Lincoln Riley as a Chicago Bears?
Well, hold on. We're going to get back to the coaching in a second, man. I just want to
Jesus, I just posted a question. Just answer the question.
You messing up my shorts, kids. I'll be trying to warn you.
I know you are, but how deep are we going to get into Ray Agnew's pants?
Well, how about this? Let me change the graphic so we can get off of that.
All right.
Hold on. I was trying to respond to the minister. Minister, email me. Let me know if you need me to put back up the email graphic. But holler at me, man. We could talk because maybe we can do something. But all right, pose a question again. Let me take this down, kids.
Lincoln Riley, USC. What do you think of Lincoln Riley as a potential head coach for the Chicago Bears?
Don't like it. He stinks. That's good enough for you?
Not interested in any college coaches coming in here and trying to lead this locker room. I don't see any of that shit working right now. So
that's it.
But I get why you want it. You're intrigued with the fact that him and Caleb have a connection and whatnot. And if nothing else, your quarterback is going to be, but I can't.
I'm not really intrigued. Don't get me wrong. I'm just posting the more obvious. I'm posting the obvious question. If Trace Armstrong is the agent who is pretty much, he's a Svengali, he's the Rasputin for George McCaskey. Right? He's Rasputin. So if that's the case,
twinkle toes over here. I see.
You know what I'm saying? So he needs like the odds are it's going to be one of his somebody on his client list again, right? That's the one that jumps out to me because of the obvious connection to Caleb Williams.
Well, how about, I wouldn't want him as head coach, but it's like, what about just offensive coordinator?
I don't think he's leaving his job for an OC job. You think? An NFL OC job, you leaving what you're doing?
I mean,
he's USC, man. He's the guy at USC running the show.
All right. Well, it's still college versus the league.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how many zeros are on that paycheck. That's enough zeros on there is enough that can change anybody's mind.
I think there's a lot of zeros for him in USC is really where we're at if we're talking zeros. So you kind of want that HC beside your name as opposed to the OC.
But now that brings up my question is, like, he's the head coach of a college team now. Okay, cool. Back in the day, because I'm fucking old, the head coach from a college team would move up to the professional ranks to be a coordinator.
Yes,
exactly all they did. And then they would get experience as a coordinator to be the head coach, for their, subsequent positions. So why should, just because a head coach in college is coming to the league, should now be a head coach in the league?
So great question, and I'm glad you mapped it out the way that you did, because that was really the actual process of things before. Fact is, Lincoln Riley's getting paid out the frame. Like, that's the difference. That's the linchpin here in this conversation. He's getting paid out the nose in USC to turn up that entire program. So if they're going to give him a lesser than contract, the question is, do you want to leave the money on the table and go and work for this organization? Oh, like, this is the craziest. You know what I mean? Why would anyone want to do that? This organization is systematically terrible. And if you're going to take a pay cut to leave USC as well, don't do it, Lincoln. Like, I wouldn't do this. But hey,
I don't know why people are so intrigued with Lincoln Riley. I mean,
I'm not, right? I just want to bring it up because George McCaskey has hired his last 3 head coaches and GMs from Trace Armstrong. So it might be easier if we just look at Trace Armstrong's client list and kind of go through, I'm being dead serious and kind of go through that.
You also being a damn jinx, man. Why don't you stop it?
How's that? I did George just like look at it for real. George McCaskey's the jinx. You know who the jinx is. Right? Let's go back to the well and get another coach from the same place we got a busted ass coach. You know what? Let's get 4 of them. Luke Getsy, Shane Waldron. Let's get a whole bunch of coaches from Trace. So again, they've all systematically failed, and I wanted to highlight that here tonight. Odds are, y'all, it's going to be another one of his guys. So keep your eyes peeled as to whether the next guy is on the Trace Armstrong list.
Well, no, hold on now, because that comes back to the fact that Kevin Warren influence. Because Kevin Warren is not a Trace Armstrong guy, is he? That's not.
Hey,
I would say that he's going
I'm
to.
glad you brought him. I'm really glad you
Anything
brought him.
Trace wants to do, I believe that motherfucker's going to get in the way of.
Say what?
Anything Trace might want to do, I believe Kevin Warren is your obstruction.
So I'm glad you brought him up. So on this show, there's been a few times where I've been like, yo, Kevin Warren ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing a damn thing. And I'm gonna retract those statements and say that maybe, y'all, maybe. And I like everybody just gotta like believe in Kevin Warren. Maybe he's the saving grace for all this. Like that's at this point, he's the guy that I'm kind of leaning towards being the actual saving grace.
Or he's Ted Phillips 2.0.
That's what he
Well,
is.
that's what I thought at first.
That's what he is. Exactly.
I don't know.
And
That's what I.
No.
He should have been when he was in the Big Ten, bro. Trust me.
Well, now, hold on, but listen to what Kedz is saying, though. He's different from Ted Phillips in the sense that when over the Thanksgiving weekend after Eberflus was fired, that whole situation, Ted Phillips wouldn't have stepped out in front of the cameras like that. He would have sent his GM out there like, go holler at them about that shit. Whereas Warren is like, yo.
Because he went in front of the media. Fuck that dude.
Well, no, because he's out there like that. And so he's out there like that. He's the, politician, glad hand, get shit done guy. The thing with the Big Ten when he was working there, when didn't he have a huge part in the rearranging of the conferences and getting the money for the advertising and the TV deals? So he knows how to make deals, but it's like he's a football guy adjacent. So if he's taking command, away from the McCaskeys, away from Trace Armstrong, he has the business acumen. He did get the stadium built in Minnesota, and he did get Arlington Heights to say, all right, we're not going to charge you that other $5 million. We was tripping. So he's saving the money right there, and people are like, well, why is it the stadium built? It's because he's saving money.
Let's dig into that because this is important, right? So I shat on Kevin Warren and I said he just found a couple of patsies, 100-year-old old lady. He can smile, shake hands, kiss babies, and make bank. That's what I thought at first. And then my guy went back to the park folks at Chicago and said, "Hey, we want to be back in Chicago. Let's stay. Let's build a whole mock-up. We'll promote that." And Kevin Warren went face first and promoted the heck out of that thing. And people are like, where the parking at? We can't park here. There's no parking in downtown Chicago. Bill, what are you doing? You want to know what he's doing? He was trying to get them taxes down in Arlington Heights, y'all. That's what he was doing. So he basically he forced a little bit of a bidding war. Things popped off. The fact is, the longer he waits, the lower them taxes going to go because
nobody want to hear about one fucking business acumen. We talking about football. He ain't got no football.
This is
let me finish, bro. Thank you, Trip. Let me get there. Everything isn't just about X's and O's, bro. It has to be about other things too. And one of those things is this actual organization and the black eye it puts on a guy like Kevin Warren when he's trying to do business, right? So he's out there trying to do business. Like, oh man, y'all can't do business. Like you don't know nothing about no business. You guys look at the product you're putting on the field. So he has to, at some point, put his neck out there and be like, yo, yeah, look at the product we're putting on the field. What the hell is this? Wait a minute. Why didn't you fire this guy last year? I suggested we fired him. You stuck your neck out. We kept him? Okay. Here we are. He don't know how to call timeouts. and I have a feeling you still want to keep this guy. I have a feeling that Kevin Warren, and the reason for that 2 hours that it took to get Matt Eberflus out the building, I have a feeling Kevin Warren was the voice of reason, y'all. I think Kevin Warren was the guy saying, I think Matt Eberflus needs to go. And it took 2 hours to convince Ryan Poles and George McCaskey.
Kedz just totally
That's the theory that I'm positing today.
He just totally made that shit up in his head. We don't know.
No, I've been thinking that for quite some time. Why would that conversation?
I don't know why do people just because Kevin Warren has a position? Kevin's a businessman. He's not the football savant everybody wants him to be.
I don't think. I'm not saying you keep missing it. I'm not saying he's a football savant. I'm saying he's a businessman.
The guy's an administrator.
Let me translate, kids. Yes, he's an administrator, but he's still the president of football operations. That means the general manager is under him, under his purview.
Yep.
So, we hope that he keeps it to the football guys, that he knows and that he respects. Cool. If he wants to keep Ryan Poles and he feels that he can turn it around, cool. But I think what I'm getting from, not what I think, but what I'm getting from what Kedz is saying is, look, man, I'm trying to build a stadium out here in Arlington Heights where we got 300 acres and we could print motherfucking money. And it'll be legal, more than we can get in the city of Chicago. But we're going to use Chicago for leverage to make Arlington Heights sweat a little bit. And then we'll get that price down, going to get that stadium built. But guess what? We need a winning product. And I'm going to go to my vice president of football, or in this case, a general manager, and be like, hey, the product, these players, these coaches, what the fuck are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? This is antithetical to me out here trying to get this money. You know what I'm saying?
Trip, did you see the short I put out there? I think it was on our last show. I can't remember, but it's a short out there, and I gave a take that I felt like, and Kedz has actually been with me on this, and I think it was largely part my take and his take in this short. But I said that I thought that Kevin Warren was looking for a PR win, and Ryan Poles left the door open because of this poor season. He left Kevin Warren an opportunity, and as a matter of fact, you spoke to that too. And Kevin Warren sees it. I thought, to me, he just needed a PR win, and this was his opportunity to get in front of the public and say, hey, man, look, I'm here trying to do something. And basically, that's what it was, the way I took it. He just totally supplanted Ryan Poles, and he shouldn't have been nowhere in the view in that presser. It should have been Ryan Poles out there saying, we decided to go in another direction, and we let go of our head coach, and Thomas Brown's our interim coach. We're gonna move forward with him in the press conference. But Kevin Warren saw that as an opportunity to get out here and grandstand and say, I'm here, I'm doing something.
No, I'm trying to say that he was the guy.
Let Kamish go. Yeah.
I'll throw it to you, Kamish. I'm saying that Kevin Warren was the guy who actually made the decision on Matt Eberflus, and Ryan Poles wanted him to stay, and that's why he was so pissed off, bro, and despondent in that presser.
We don't know.
Kamish.
So real quick, I do have to get going, so I'll just kind of give my last statements here. And I do appreciate the time that you guys give me. It really is a great time to come and chat with you guys.
Appreciate you coming, bro.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, please. Anytime you have a spot available or need a sub, let me know. I'll be more than happy to jump in and talk.
To have you on, man.
But with Ryan Poles there, two real quick points. So with Poles and Trace. So with Poles in that presser, he did look defeated. Like sitting there, he looked like he was a kid in timeout. What Kevin Warren was talking and whatnot. His shoulders slumped, and he just looked like he did not want to be there. And the facial expressions I get from what Kedz is saying, like he did have a pissed off look on his face, like I fucking told y'all, motherfuckers. Like if y'all would have listened to me at the beginning of the season, I want to be over here looking stupid over here, sitting next to you, looking like I'm getting scolded. But whatever, it is what it is, and now I'm gonna have to fall on the sword. But the second part about Trace Armstrong as well, I feel like him being an agent, he's made more money being an agent, these guys, than an actual football player when he was with the Bears.
Sure.
So like, it's almost like this is his payback. Like, you didn't pay me when I was a player, but you're sure as fuck gonna pay me representing all these. I'm getting my money out of you motherfuckers one way or another.
Huh?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But
You know,
with that said, guys.
Well, hold on, but before you go, just so you know, the latest scuttlebutt, the rumor, the innuendo around the office cooler that the cockroaches were selling about the flowers on the wall is that defensive coordinator Alan Williams, he got fired because he had pictures of Trace Williams going downtown on Virginia.
Oh,
wow. I'm happy you can confirm that. I heard those rumors, but I didn't know. I thought that was just rumors. You confirmed that though. That was thank you. Breaking news.
I read it someplace over there that was written down.
man.
Well, I can't.
I just have flashbacks of the movie Kingpin. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
Oh my god!
Like I just let out about 10 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that flashback. Yeah, that
You
one.
have to take a crap.
Look, boy, hey, Kmet, man. Hey, look here, man. I just want you to know the door is it's a swinging door over here, man. And you represent well, you present well on the podcast, and we love to have you back whenever you want to come back. Just give them if you hear a thumbnail, if you see a thumbnail, it's like, you know what, I want to talk about that. Just give somebody a heads up, man. We'll have you back. No problem.
You got it.
All right. Not a problem. I'll shoot you an email, and I want to say again, thank you to all you guys. Thank you to your audience members for being so nice to me and whatnot. Please, I love that you guys came and checked us out over at the Chicago Clubhouse Network. I was happy to see you guys in the chat, and hopefully we'll see you more. And thank you to my guys that tuned in too. John Bowles, JB Stats here, Foulmouth C tuned in. Anthony is
in there, man. Shout out to the who?
Anthony Stewart that you've been showing. He's AMP that was on the show last night. Okay. So a lot of the guys kind of coming in and showing you guys some love, and we just want to return the favor for what you guys did to us as well. So
we appreciate that. Shout out to Chicago Clubhouse Network, man. You guys put on a pretty decent show last night. I got a good view. Appreciate the comments and the discourse that you guys were having. Yes, it was awesome to watch.
I will be subscribing to your channel, and I will set my notification. And when I can get out from under all this debris that is on me now, because I'm running everything without Chris, it's a lot to deal with. But I will try to get to your podcast and get in there the best way I can, and let everybody know. Bring the No Maniacs with me if I can, man. So, man, trust me, we take care of each other around here. You part of us now.
Thank you very much, and we would love to have you guys on that show as well. Yesterday was a fan appreciation as well, where we could have members of the audience come on. So, if you guys want to come on our show and talk Bears, please let us know as well. So,
a question, Commissioner. I see that you got the Blackhawk there behind you. What sports y'all be talking over there?
Everything.
All Chicago sports. So, on Thursdays, we talk. It's either Bulls or baseball season. Depending on the season, it's either Cubs or White Sox, where we have Emilio and Kristen talking about breaking down the games. And then when it's basketball season, they talk Bull Spit. So they break down that. And then Tuesdays is the main show where we mostly just break down the Bears game, what happened, what went wrong, usually what went right on the days that they won. And then we have a pregame show as well, 2 hours before every Bears game. So, like I said, we like to talk all Chicago sports, all Chicago topics, whether it be Chicago food, Chicago areas, just anything in all Chicago. We're here for it.
You lucky to be able to do some just any other content, man. Because if I tried to do some Bulls content over here, they peel all my damn skin off me, man.
What are you
talking about?
It's hard to get excited about them.
They'll be mad at me because it ain't Bears content, man. They'll be pissed.
Well, what's cool is that the Nomad Network and the Chicago Clubhouse, it's fans just talking about their team, their city, their sports, their food. And like you were saying, we could go around the horn. It was like, Connor Bedard, is that new coach good? Is Kyle from Chicago gonna, keep developing this Hawks team? Kyle Tucker's, he don't get re-signed. Is Jed trying to go all in this season because he traded Belly and all that?
Cody's out.
You know what I'm saying? He's gone. New York. Good luck, my dude. Belly bomb your ass off out there. The White Sox, they was so bad last year. They set suckage records. But now they got a new coach. Are they gonna, build it up? Acme, what the fuck are we doing, bro? Are we trying to get into the play-in and lose a draft pick? Or are we trying to trade back and and Vooch and build up the future, and then you got the Bears situation, and then you got, the food. I mean, come on, son. So that's why, the content creators that you all are, as well as shameless plug, Sports Chicago style, with chef trips and his healthier recipes and talking about sports, but it's fans, doing content, for the love of the content and the love of the sport, the love of the team, the love of the city, and as we say this on a day where we see like the corporate content sports Chicago creators are laying people off. Merry Christmas, y'all. Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah. Right. So support the independent content creators and build with one another. It's like you are always welcome to come onto the show and build with any of us, and we just keep the network going. So big up.
Appreciate it. You guys have a safe and happy holiday. If you guys do any traveling, be safe, and be safe when drinking out there. Get home safe. Want to see you guys back on this network again and stuff, and talk more Bears football to you guys. Like I said, I'm indebted to you guys. I can't thank you guys enough. You guys rock, and I can't wait to be back.
It goes both ways. No Diddy. It goes both ways, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Mic drop with the no Diddy thing.
We appreciate
that brother getting way too much love out there.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, Kamish, thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. Shout out to your guys out there. Just gave him a little bit of a bear down in the chat. I think there was a couple of more, but we'd appreciate if you guys do like, share, and subscribe. Follow our content. We'll do the same, and most definitely there's just as Triple R was saying, there's room for collaboration down the road. We'll figure things out.
By the way, when you leave the show, Cookie Commish, you probably might want to come back and rewind to about 1 hour and 50, because I'm about to give the No Maniacs, man, a couple of nuggets, some draft teasers to pay attention to. I'm going to go out here and scout these guys, and I'm going to find the particular needs that we need on the team. And it's a couple of dudes I'm coming up with right after you leave, man. So you might want to come back and check those two guys out. I don't know if you heard of them or not, but you'll see when you come back and rewind the show, man. Check those out.
Most definitely. I'll most definitely check it out during work tomorrow. And like I said, on Mondays, I also have my fantasy football show that I did with Kedz yesterday. So for those of you that are into fantasy football, on Mondays nights, check us out Mondays night. And then the next day, go ahead and check out the main channel here.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I'll be on his show there. I believe the 23rd we're aiming at.
Yes, sir.
That's
See you there.
So I'll be over on Chicago Clubhouse representing on some fantasy football flexes. So, Kamish, thanks for having me, man, or thanks for joining us. You know what it is. We'll chat it up soon.
Absolutely. Right. Bear down.
Hey, you guys bear down. Don't you guys go nowhere, because like I said before, we got a couple of draft teasers that I wanted to show you guys. And while I take this graphic down right quick, we're just gonna talk, because Kedz and Trips, man, we've been I've been doing my due diligence, man. I got a full workload right now, just trying to make sure I'm getting ready for this draft, trying to get the ideas for this website together, and in the meantime and in between time, I'm trying to get us where we need to be as far as some of these draft pieces, man. And I got a couple of them for us, man, to talk about. And while I change up the screen to put this up, this guy right here. So is it would you guys say that we lack so poorly in the trenches that needs to be the kind of like the first place we go in the draft, right? Anybody disagree with that?
No, I can't,
Well, hold on. The only thing I disagree about is it looks like now this team is going to be picking whoever the GM is in the top 10, like at 9 or 8 or something. And I understand taking the offensive lineman first, but I would consider trading back, and then whatever that next pick is, taking offensive lineman there.
Yeah, I think the popular sentiment right now is, get down a little bit further. I don't know if there's a guy real early in the draft, like everybody's gonna want to be like, we need to get Will Campbell. I'm telling you guys right now, everybody's gonna be like, we need to get Will Campbell. We need to get Will Campbell. But I'm gonna show you guys some people, some players later on down the line that it might not be Will Campbell, but you can get just as much value. This is, a lot of guys are talking about Tim Grant. I think his name is Tim Grant. And this guy isn't Tim Grant. Tim Grant is he's something else. And I like Tim Grant is so. I think that's Kenneth Grant. That's my bad. Kenneth Grant from Michigan. He's a nose tackle, but he is so gifted athletically. I think Kenneth Grant can give you some 3-tech reps. He's that gifted athletically. He's about 6'5", 340 pounds. And I think he, as big as he is, he can give you some 3-tech reps. You got to see the film to understand what I'm talking about. Freakishly athletic. But particularly what we need is we need run stoppers, guys that can plug up the middle, guys that can really get pushed. This guy right here, Tim Keenan, he's in the rotation. I think he's listed as a starter, but he's in rotation. Alabama has so many different guys that you'll look at some Alabama film and be like, why ain't he in there on every play? It's because they got so many guys that they need to highlight. But this dude right here, he is almost built exactly like Andrew Billings. And you ain't blocking this cat one-on-one. This is the guy that's going to demand that double team and give you everything that you've been lacking on this team so far on the defense. To me, it's the biggest hole on the team, in my opinion, is the run stopping ability. Because you can't stop anybody from running, you really have not much of a chance to win. But this is a guy, Tim Keenan, 6'2", 326 pounds, junior. He's definitely coming out. I'm almost certain. I'm not going to say definitely. I'm almost certain he's coming out. Pure run stuffer. He's a particular kind of player. He's going to give you nose tackle reps, and that's it. That's it. But this guy is exactly what you need. He's not going to be drafted early. And he's going to be one of those later 4th, 5th round guys. We got some extra draft picks. This is a guy you need to pay close attention to. Write the name down. Go check out the film all by yourself. But I'm telling you, you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Cool.
Yeah, you like. I'm just gonna say the thing I have to say, and I'm so mad that we're talking about draft in December. I'm so mad, bro. Oh, mad, bro.
It's where we are.
I know it's terrible, but all right. I mean, we'll get deeper into all of these things. I know you got at least another little gem here. We're gonna keep our eyes on all these guys and where we can go with this draft situation. But I don't know what is going to. Oh man, like I have no clue what happens this offseason with free agency, right? Like I really don't. And when I say stuff like that, I'm really leaning towards a lot of these big, huge contracts and the play we're seeing on the field, because there may be additional holes here to fill, right?
Well, yeah, because we don't know what the offensive and or defensive schemes are going to be. We don't know what kind of athletes they're going to need to, fill that. I'll go back to the Madden reference. Not everybody can run the same shit. So, whoever the new staff coming in, whatever they're going to require, they're going to require. So we don't know. But we know that there is a deficiency of talent in the trenches, both sides of the ball. We know that, so those would be areas to be addressed. And, we can't say that, well, we're going to sign the guard from Kansas City if he's a free agent. Well, what kind of offense are we running? Can he run that kind of offense? We don't know. So, there's a lot we don't know that we know we don't know.
Yeah, so, at least he's aiming at the trenches, right?
Yeah, we definitely need to address them, but we can't really point to specific players or player types because we don't know what we need them to do in the required offenses and defenses that are going to be called. And so it's just kind of like, yeah, that's like stroking it with air coming out at the end, because it's like, why am I looking at draft shit now? I don't know. But do your thing, baby boy.
So I got several guys to highlight and preview. We don't have time, and I haven't figured out how to do video without getting dinged by YouTube yet. But I got a couple of weeks to try to figure that out. I'm gonna try and figure out something. maybe we just won't monetize the show when we do video on these guys. I would love to be showing you guys some all 22 of exactly what I'm thinking when I'm talking about these guys like Tim Keenan and some of these sleeper picks. You know, I think they are out there that, you know, most of your podcasters don't want to talk about because they are just like anybody else. They're like lemmings. They clamp on to the major names that everybody's talking about. You know, right about now, everybody's talking about Tim Grant. And I'm not saying that you're following the herd when you do that, because Tim Grant's a dog. I got so much high praise about Tim Grant, but my point is to bring to you guys some guys that you may or may not have paid attention to, some names out there that I can bring to you and tell you what I saw on film. And I'm telling you, when we got particular needs, I'm going to point them out on the show. And I know for a fact that we have this particular need. And we're not going to stop here, because there's another one that I want to highlight for you guys. And what would you say defensively is our other biggest need, Kedz and Trips?
Well, edge rusher for sure.
Edge rusher, okay.
Defensive tackle, edge rusher, and strong safety. You know, are we really trying to count on Jaquan Brisker coming back from having his egg scrambled like that? You know, and at his position, the way he plays ball, you know, that's not something that I'm comfortable that he was gonna be relied upon, you know, going further. So, and we see a lot of the difference that he made in run support, you know, as well as a little bit of coverage. You know, he would get his ass burned every now and then. But, you know, so safety, well, strong safety, edge, and D tackle. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I heard I heard edge come out, and I started thinking this. And you know something, man? I'm gonna tell you something. I'm watching this cat on film, and this is Mike Green from Marshall. One of those guys that's gonna probably fly under the radar for a lot of people. Some of you guys, I know, no maniacs, know what's going on and kind of have heard of this guy, man. Mike Green leads in every statistical category that counts when it comes to edge rush. You're talking about sacks, pressure rating, you know, he even leads in tackles behind the line. I mean, this dude is an absolute terror. And don't pay no attention to the fact that he's playing at Marshall. Pay no attention to that, because that was a knock on him because he played that in that league. Pay no attention to that, because when they played Ohio State, all the hoorah was, and I watched this game, all the hoorah was about, can Mike Green rise to the level against this level of talent? He's playing against one of the top 3 teams in the country. And he absolutely flashed all damn day. This dude is a freak athlete. I mean, straight up freak by every sense of the word. This dude, 6'4", 248 pounds, sophomore, he's coming out. Man, this dude don't stop. And he's
now.
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. When you say I'm coming, I was like, I'm coming now. I want the world to. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you for that, man. But this dude right here, I'm telling you, when you look at him, I'm telling you, everybody that goes and starts to look at the film on Mike Green, it won't be long before you start thinking, you're gonna start thinking Micah Parsons. You're gonna start thinking Micah Parsons, and what's number 40's name in Buffalo right now? I can't think of his name. Who? Von Miller. Those are the 2 guys you're gonna think about. You're gonna think about the bend from Von Miller and the just tenacity that this kid plays with. You're gonna start thinking of Mike. You're gonna start thinking of Micah Parsons. He's got the same measurables. Parsons.
It looks like their agreement, NFL Draft Buzz, I'm looking at, like the first guy you were talking about, he's not declared yet, or he's not on their rankings.
Yeah, he's coming. I believe he will.
But this guy, Mike Green, they're projecting him at a 2nd round early. You know, he's number 35 overall ranked, position ranked number 12. So he's gonna be one of those that if you want to get him, you better get while the getting's good with one of the, you know, one of those second or one of the 2 of those 2nd rounders or whatever the situation, he's going early.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, Trips, I think I don't want people to think that just because I think this guy is a is a really good piece that fits the Bears that I'm just talking because I like what I see on film. I'm challenging everybody to go watch and see for yourself if you think what I'm saying makes any kind of sense to you. I'm talking about later round. Every pick that's going to be great for your franchise ain't going to happen in the first round. Just because a guy ain't picked in the first round, don't think he's not going to turn out to be great. This guy's got every earmark that you like, just straight out relentless. He don't stop. He's just one of them kids that just like you can't turn him off. Like this dude is determined. Like watching this dude on film is just like watching a terrorist. It's really what it is, man. He doesn't really have, other than his size, and when it comes to setting the edge, I would say, if I had to look and say if there's a detriment to drafting a guy like this, I don't think right away he's your every down edge rusher, right? He's not your every down first, second, down rushers. But when it comes to pass rushing downs, third down and distance, and you need to get to the quarterback and get to the quarterback fast, man. I mean, I haven't seen other than there's another guy, Antoine Powell-Ryland out of Virginia Tech. I'll highlight him later. But I'm telling you, it's not very many edge rushers that has everything. This dude has a bag. When I say bag of pass rushing moves, man, I'm telling you, man, this dude's got the gift. I'm telling you. But I'll leave it there, man. Anybody else want to speak to that before we leave this subject alone?
No. Like I say, I'm personally not ready to be here yet, man. I'm just not. So I'm excited to see what guys like this bring to the table. I'll go through my whole spiel and actually zero in on a bunch of these heads there as we go through the off season. But right now, I'm still feeling that hangover of the 2024 NFL season.
Well, I'm just trying to give people some reason to be looking forward. And right now, it just ain't a whole lot of reasons to be optimistic about anything. Looking forward is hard for everybody to do right now, kid. It ain't just you. It's just I'm just trying to give people some reason to look forward. And this is about the only thing I can think of to do that is we got a chance to get back into the draft and get better. And this is just my attempts to make everybody try to feel a little bit better about what the fuck's going on.
You know what? And in that spirit, bro, I really appreciate what you did then. In that spirit, that's the Christmas spirit, y'all. Nomad trying to make you guys feel a little bit optimistic in the holidays. Let's give you something to look forward to because God only knows this weekend ain't gonna be it. We even talk about that game we got. There's a football game, isn't there? There's a football game.
Well, here's you got another a topic there, Nomad, before I derail things.
No. Well, let me pull this down and get us on the screen. Hold on, because I think we had to go here, get to the game conversation, the game we got coming up on Sunday, man. So if that's where you want to go, take off.
Kind of as the game's coming up, it's a broader issue as opposed to the X's and O's of this particular contest. But there is the course of 3 football games in less than 2 weeks that the Bears are going to be playing, correct?
Yep.
How is that approved by the Players Association? Why is that a thing? Because as physical as this fucking game is, these guys are not going to be able to compete at the levels that they can do when there's just 7 days between games. And now you're throwing all of these games in such a condensed period of time. Isn't that going to increase the opportunity for injuries and less of a polished product on the field because you got tired, beat up players out there more so than normal? What the fuck are we doing?
So the Players Association ain't the principal in the matter. They at the end of the day, they have a little power, a little say so, but at the end of the day, they're gonna, until they have a Players Association and this leadership that has some backbone and some spine to fight against greed and corruption is what it is. It's like there has to be somewhere, somehow, that there's got to be some consideration to how often physical as that game is, that you have to turn around and make good and be able to play this game after that amount of recovery time. And until the Players Association has enough leadership that has enough spine and ain't taking money, that's at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. is, the leader of the player association is going to get his cut, and he's going to get past the laws that the owners fucking won't. If you want to hear the truth about it, that's what it is.
Well, I wish I could argue with any of that. That's all pretty well the way that she goes. There's lobbyists out there. There's folks who are going to get in there, try and cut you a little slice, and you're going to decide whether you're going to take a slice or not, and what the greater good is.
But don't the players vote on their leadership?
Well, okay, like
don't
Americans, don't Americans vote for their president? You know what I'm saying? Like it's the same kind of situation. You get a figurehead in there. He does what he's going to do. But I think there's other ways that to address this issue. One of them might be actually increasing the size of the teams, right? Maybe 53 isn't enough players to have on your active roster for a 17-game season, given these new circumstances. Same token, maybe you actually do extend out and add a couple more games. Perhaps you give a bye in the middle. You know what I mean? Like an actual bye. Like there's all sorts of different ways to actually address this, because the facts are, this is a business. They're going to want to make more money. They're going to want to add a couple more. Like they've been trying to add games, and they have over the course of the last 10 years. There's been a couple of games added thus far. I will not be surprised if we get to a 20-game season over the course of the next 10 years.
Well, they're already at 18 games that they're talking about. Now you look at Brazil, Germany, Ireland, wherever the bumfuck, Egypt, Dubai, whatever, of traveling. I don't understand, because it's detrimental, to the product on the field. If the players are that hurt, because of the condensed, pounding that their bodies are taking for these games. And then, you're throwing off the circadian rhythms. Yeah, I went there. Because now you not only playing on Sundays, but you're playing on Mondays, you're playing on Thursdays, you're playing on Fridays, you're playing on Saturdays. And it's like, come on. And like you were saying, the 53-man roster, that's ridiculous. Let's get some more bodies out there so when guys are dinged up.
Since y'all met me, man, I'm tired of saying that.
What's that?
The 53-man roster is too small. I've been saying that since y'all met me.
It's like, so just to give a little background, a few years back, the Giants wound up winning the Super Bowl, and it wasn't really because they had a great football team, right? It was Eli Manning Giants. Fact of the matter is their team was decimated and hurt throughout the season. And in the last 4 games of the season, everybody came back and they were healthy. Everybody's off IR and they're ready to go. So they just steamrolled through the playoffs and the end of the season, clinched their berth and beat Tom Brady. And, it was just a question of whether these guys were healthy or not. Now we're looking at a situation where they're adding additional games in here. Odds are running, like especially the running back position. Oh, man, I feel terrible for these guys. They're just going to get chewed up and out. And in many cases, without even getting their second contract, right? So,
Kids, you know what I think is going to happen? I think we're heading down a road within the next year or so. I'd say within the next, I'll just say the next 12 months to 12 to 18 months, we're going to have a walkout. Why? I think the 53-man roster, number one, the practice schedule, 2, and it's going to be a combination of the players' concerns and the coaching concerns. There's a lot of coaches and players that don't feel like the practices are physical enough to get yourself prepared for games early in the season, because the offseason is very, very soft and light. They give you a window that you can get your physicality in, and to a certain extent, I understand it. I'm like right in between the ether and heaven right now. You know what I mean? It's like, as a football player, I can understand why people would be like, okay, this is too much physicality. We ain't gonna be able to make it through the season. We only get 53 men on the roster, number one. And all this physicality, that doesn't bode well for how long we need to go. They steady talking about adding games. So something's going to give sooner or later, and I think sooner rather than later, there's going to be a walkout, and there's going to be a variety of concerns as being the reason why.
Yeah, I don't like I don't see a football walkout like that shit happened. When was the last time that happened? I know that happened. I think like '86. I just don't see it. Like
another time since then, I believe.
Well, thank you in the chat saying that put that when the players agreed to more time off before training camp, they're in bed with them. No Diddy.
Yeah. I mean, of course you're gonna agree that we need more time in the offseason because it's the turnaround is so fast. It's like they get technically if you want to stay on top of your game and stay on top of your shit, you ain't gonna take no more than 2 or 3 weeks in the offseason before you get back to the grind. Because if you don't, people gonna get ahead of you. You know what I mean? You got to stay physically fit and ready to play this game for 17, 18 games. You know, I mean, you got the work the workload that you have to put onto your body is real, bro. I haven't seen it, dealt with it. You know, it's real. It's like it's a lot of money. You get a lot of money to a lot of people's eyes, you know, but a lot of those guys don't see a whole lot of that money because of their lifestyle. You know, the way you got to live at is going to cost you a whole lot. Imagine what it costs you to live in Lake Forest and to move and go to and fro, rent this and get that taken care of while you at practice and all that kind of stuff. It's not making a lot of money.
Speaking of making a lot of money, and to change the subject and delay the next talking about this next shitty ass game we got to watch. The winner, Hunter. You like it? Yes, no. What do you think?
What's that?
You think Hunter? What's his name? What's it? Travis Hunter winning the Heisman? Good thing? Bad thing?
Oh yeah. You don't nobody play full time on both sides of the ball and play at that level, at that high level, and not win it. You know, I think he's so uniquely qualified to win the Heisman this year. It's not even funny. A lot of people say, you know, Ashton Genty's and his stats is like that. He felt like he got robbed because he did like kind of a once in a lifetime kind of statistic. But look at who in the fuck plays offense and defense full time at that level. Who? Like he's unique. Like there's two specifically physically unique athletes in college football right now that like Travis Hunter is one. The other one is the quarterback from Alabama. That motherfucker right there is absolutely, he can turn around and decide next year if he went crazy and decide he want to be the starting middle linebacker of Alabama and be all-American by the end of the season. That's how much of a difference of an athlete he is compared to his peers. There's two stud athletes in college football that way. Travis Hunter is one of them, and I can't think of the quarterback's name at Alabama. He's the other.
Is that Milroe?
Jalen Milroe, yep.
Right on.
Y'all got any more Bears conversation before we get out of here, man? Happy holidays to everybody, man.
There's always a Bears conversation to be had, but I guess, like we haven't said nothing about this Detroit game, right? Like,
do we really have to?
I don't know if we have to.
I mean, let's find some positives, even though I don't like seeing players hurt, but Detroit is in such a shit show of an injury situation that maybe the offense, you know, is able to capitalize on some of these off the street guys that they're just getting, you know, and maybe. Well, I have no faith in the defense doing anything against this Detroit offense. But maybe, you know, the Bears offense can do something against the beat up, hurt, you know, just Lions defense.
Yeah.
Robert Frail. I got to laugh at that. Positives, this season is almost over. There's a silver lining in all this. Look, I'm gonna lay it out like this. Considering we're in December and we went to draft, a couple of draft steals there already. There was a draft steal that me and Samo looked at last season, as well as my guy Nomad, and I'm sure Trip was probably involved in some capacity too. But we were looking at Sione Vaki. We're like, man, this kid's kind of special. He's just kind of like a jack of all trades. I'm not sure what he's good at specifically, but he's kind of just good at everything. We played the San Francisco 49ers a little while ago, and their third string running back was just running ruckshot all over the place. I have a strange feeling Sione Vaki is going to run ruckshot all over the place this coming weekend, and I don't like saying stuff like that, but here we are. So keep your eyes out for a Sione Vaki sighting as far as Detroit Lions are concerned. That's probably my one little worry here, but I don't see I don't see things getting any better than Bears 18, Detroit 31.
Probably won't even be that close. Then.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm trying to give us a little bit of love, a little 2-touchdown love, field goal, something. But
I mean, if you look at
that might be pushing it.
The history of the last couple games with San Fran and Minnesota, it kind of looked like they were to the point where those two offenses were going to it's like, let's leave no doubt. Let's not have any kind of comebacks to the second half of Caleb Williams getting hot, and get the offense rolling for the Bears side. Let's just keep the pedal to the metal, the foot on the throat, and keep jugging them until the game's over. And I can see Detroit just trying to do that off of just rip, just because, that we took them almost to overtime before, and it was like, well, it shouldn't be that close. And so they got, a point to prove. And the Bears have just been the team all season, other than Mayonnaise Titans that he gave that errant throw, has just been the whipping bitches, for the teams around the league. So it's like, now we got to go back to Detroit, and they, shout out to Monty. They're gonna be playing for him. All the emotions and all that. And now this young running back that Kedz is talking about against our defense that ain't stopped nobody all season long. And now Big Dex has his knee issue, and so it's like the kid from Jonathan Ford from Green Bay looked decent. 4 tackles, tackle for loss. So maybe he can, develop into something. But yeah, no confidence whatsoever about this defense stopping the Detroit offense. None.
Well, hold on. Because, oh man, like this team actually lines up really well against the Detroit Lions if they come out to play football now, don't they?
Positivity. Here we go. Positivity.
Oh, it hurts. Like we're at the level where the positivity is painful, but like I'm just saying, they line up really, especially minus a David Montgomery. They line up really well. David Montgomery would likely be gashing us right up the center. Jahmyr Gibbs can do that, but he's not quite as talented at that as Demo is. So Demo's gone. As far as the passing game is concerned, we've done a pretty good job of containing Amon-Ra St. Brown over the years, especially when it comes to Jalen Johnson. Jameson Williams can be a threat. I don't know how they shake that out with Tariq. Tariq does a pretty decent job of managing JMO, but who's going to play? Is it Tariq? Is it Terrell? I don't know what that is at this point. I don't. But lo and behold, the guy who really kicked us in the shins last game was actually Tim Patrick. It's the truth. It was Tim Patrick. He came out of nowhere.
Wide receiver 3 and the tight end. Wide receiver 3
and the tight end. That was it. So we got to worry about Tim Patrick at this point, and really and Sam Laporta. They can do anything about Sam Laporta. And let's also put this out there: Bears versus tight ends, 2024, not real good. Like tight ends have Kittle, Hawkinson, like you name a tight end, and they're balling out against the Chicago Bears. It's just facts. And this is why I'm like, man, Tremaine, bro, like you got to step up your game, Tremaine. You just gotta. It's getting ugly, bro.
I'm gonna say this, man. I'm like not like the average Bears fan. I feel like we always stand a chance to win. It's a football game. It's a football game, and it's about whether or not it's 1, 2, 3 Cancun for the whole team. You know what I mean? Where everybody then packed up and got ready for their vacation. And I don't think they do that to Thomas Brown. I really don't. I don't want to believe that, because Thomas Brown has something to prove. And, some of these players on this team, everybody's playing for something. Whatever it is, they're playing for something. And there's also this thing called, it starts with a P, ends with an E, pride. You know what I mean? That like me, if I'm out there on that field, dog, as long as it's football to be played, I bet you I'm not going out there and just half-assing nothing. And I know it's probably more players on that team than not. Are there some players out there that probably feel like 1, 2, 3 Cancun? Probably. But hopefully they can get to those guys and rally those troops and go out there and not completely embarrass us and give these guys a game. Whether or not they come out with the victory or not is really irrelevant to me. Yes, of course, I would love to see a win. But what I want to see is them to go out there and play with some pride and have some sense of, we ain't no doormat. We ain't no doormat. Go out there and give me that. Give me that.
Your bitches.
Come on, Trip. We can't. This one's monetized, man. You just don't want to see that. That's all I want, man. I'm not asking for a whole lot. Is that too much to ask for? Just don't go out there.
We've been saying that all season.
Just don't be a doormat. That's all I'm saying. Whatever happens, happens. But just go out there and fight.
None.
How about this, man? Because actually, my girlfriend is off, and I got some closing words for you guys that I want everybody to take heed to, even if you're, no matter who you are. I think you want to listen to these closing words. But let me pass it on to the Canuck for some pleasantries before we get ready to get out of here.
All right, Bears fans, it's Wednesday night. We do our darn thing, and we did the darn thing. Shout out to all you guys for coming through and supporting the show, giving us a little bit of love. And I'll give a little bit of love right back at you. My guy MC Fact is out there. He just jumped in. It's Crimson You Dig, been on for a little bit, came a little bit late. We were talking about you actually earlier, Crimson, if you missed it. But we're giving you a little bit of props, bro. I'm glad to have you as per normal. Our guy, the Minister Charles Johnson, Super No Maniac Minister Charles Johnson's out there representing as per normal. By all means, shoot us a little bit of an email, and I'm sure Nomad will correspond in that respect. We've got our guy Smitty Q out there and Robert Frail, both y'all representing lovely with us. ATF is out there with us today. Clark Kahn, our guy Clark. What's poppin', Clark? Who else is out there with us? James Ford's chilling with us. The Scroll's been with us all night long. Shout out to the guys over at the clubhouse. Anthony Stewart's out there. AC Adams kicking it with us. Our homie Marlon Johnson, the Super No Maniac Marlon. Black Rain 7920's out there with us. John Bowles. Camfrey 15, Where Goes One? Been a minute since we've seen you. Where Goes One? Always good to have you on the show. Rex Smith, shout out to our guy, the Crooked Commish. In the grass jumped in. FFG was with us too. Shout out to you, FFG. Who else we got? Oh, Katrina. Yeah, Katrina mad out there, man. She's saying Poles messed it all up, and I can't even argue with Katrina for a second. Rex Smith, shout out to you, dog. Who else we got out there? Terry Anderson, Super No Maniac Terry, Super No Maniac Mo Fugra. We've also got Chris Foster out there just licking off shots of strays at Ryan Poles. Jay Sanders is out there too. That gets close to rounding it out. See if there's any more heads that I'm missing. But Kenny was out there with us too, representing Kenny.
Did you say Black Rain? Because he gave a shout out to Eddie Murphy and Boomerang with Marcus. Get a little earthy kid on him, a little cat woman.
Ooh, I can't roll the R's like that. I'm sorry, it's not I'm not from that part of the Southern Hemisphere.
Did you get the TV commercial? Was it the Big Fan? No, it's Rolling Writers as a TV commercial, and then a shout out to Chester Owl, because Nomad was like who earlier, And it's like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? You know, so another shout out there as well.
Shout out to Chester Owl, man. He deserves a little bit of love too. Shout out to Mr. Mayhem as well. Big props to you, my friend. Skull Six Stray was out there. King Booker, I didn't even see you, King Booker. Shout out to you, dog. We missed you.
Shout out to Smitty on the truck rolling through Tennessee right now.
Frank the Tank. Oh, hold it. Be safe out there, Smitty. We got Lee Team and Logan Jiu-Jitsu's out there. Giovanni, happy birthday, Giovanni. Christopher Egerton. Ralph Love is with us and Joe Archer. I think that definitely rounds out the whole squad. Shout out to everybody for your support. We appreciate it. Always a good conversation to be had. We'll see what happens this weekend against the Detroit Lions. I think, again, this team lines up well against the Detroit Lions. Let me get deeper on that. I think we've lined up well against a bunch of teams this season. I don't know what the hell going on anymore. Trip.
Shit. I am everyday people. Not the older version. The
Arrested Development version. Is that it?
Tennessee. Yeah, you be safe out there on the roads because I know it's dark and the sun is down.
On some real.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The Kmet don't know nothing about that unless he saw the Green Book. You see the Green Book? You gotta watch.
Once you say Tennessee, I'm kind of out.
Yeah, bro, you better watch
Tennessee
that.
bourbon.
You better watch that, and if you want to be safe rolling through the United States.
Yeah, that's a good movie. What was the actor's name? The dude.
I can't. It's an African actor. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, no, I can't remember his name, but he's a good actor. You would enjoy the movie, but that's what I'm referring to with driving in the southern roads in this day and age. What you doing down around these parts here, boy?
Uh-oh.
So
Decent line, sir, is a whole conversation.
Hey, but we just said it. We don't mean no harm. We just telling the truth. That's all. So a shout out to everybody, all the Nomadiacs. Big up to the commish and the clubhouse, all those brothers and sisters out there. Bear down. All the sports teams. All the sayings. It's very depressing. So make sure you get some sunlight. Make sure you get some exercise, drink water, hydrate, what I'm saying? Because the frustration levels and the blood boiling, it ain't good for us, y'all. It ain't good. So take a nice long fix, get the dead skin and get the Chicago sports out of you. With that said, please make sure you follow at the Chicago Sports Chicago Style. Let me get that one right. As that's all the personal social medias and the channel and the YouTube page, Sports Chicago Style. And there are breakdowns for the pregame, postgame for the Bears. And we're doing other lifestyle content creation with Chef Trips and his video recipes, with Trip and his exercise vlog, and Coach Tripping and his self-defense mobility thing. So it's a content creation thing, Chicago sports, health, just kicking it, what I'm saying, like we do. So come through and hopefully enjoy. And then we will see you next week here with some extra sauce, hopefully talking about a Bears victory over those Detroit Kitties.
Amen.
There's positivity for you, motherfuckers.
Hey, listen, man, let me switch up the screen. And first of all, let me thank my cousin from Canada, my brother, as a matter of fact, man, and my brother down there in the bottom over there, man. Trips at Sports Chicago Style. I love these brothers, man. Straight up. I mean it. I love them both, man. And I wish them Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and just everything you're doing over there at Sports Chicago Style, man. Blessings to it, man. Listen, kids, you already know what it is, man. I don't speak out of my ass. I mean it when I say I love you guys, man. I do. And it's not just because it's Christmas. It's just because I mean it. And I made this background for everybody, man. And I meant it when I put this up here. And I just want to thank everybody. And I know I say this on behalf of us over here at the Nomad Network. And I can speak for Sports Chicago Style, I'm sure. that we want to thank everybody for all the support, man. We just love you guys, man. None of this stuff works without you guys showing up and being a part of what we do. It doesn't work without you. It's just the way it is. And I put some heart and soul into this with a little humor because Trip decided he wanted to mess with a big ass woman that had a bucket of chicken, and he a goddamn fool here on during the holidays. He's gonna get hurt. That's what's gonna happen. But with that being said, I want to bring this up because it came to me like so. I'll just tell you guys real quick, and I'm not gonna be long with what I have to say. I've been binging Chicago PD with my girlfriend. We turned on an episode or two, and we just fell in love with it, right? And so every time I watch this show, they got so many different topic lines that really make me think back to some of the times when I've been a counselor and a youth counselor and a mentor. And there was a particular time when I was a mentor and a youth counselor to a group of teenage girls who were abused, right? And my role was, to come in and play. I was really there to role play. I mean, really, that really was my definition. I was there as a role model to a bunch of abused girls who have been abused in every way, shape, form you can imagine, screwed, blued, and tattooed in every way you can think of. And I was there to teach them healthy relationships with males, right? And so that was my particular role. And of course, you would imagine that, naturally girls are going to see you and like you the enemy. These are teenage girls that have been mistreated. And so over time, I was able to cultivate relationships with these girls, man. And over time, man, I grew to love those girls so much, and they fell in love with me. And when you're doing a job like that, you think that you're teaching so much to these young people. And in the end, I did. I taught them a great deal. But guarantee you, and this might surprise a bunch of you, they taught me more. They taught me more. And so that just sets me up for this story I'm about to tell you. So one time, there was a girl in particular. She had a weekend visit with her, I think it was her mother, I think. And her mother had fought she had been in DCFS, going through DCFS and doing all that thing. And she had fought to get the rights to be able to have weekend visits with this girl after all the hardships that girl had been through. That woman went through every channel that she needed to, every hurdle that she needed to jump to get her kid back in her life. And she did it. And she earned some weekend visits. So I think it was like the third time that she had a weekend visit. She went, the girl had the visit and came back to the facility and met with me. And she came in there and she pointed me out and she was like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And I go in the room with her and she just starts crying, snot boogering, and she was just out of her shit. And what I found out was this girl this is somewhere in the 63rd Halstead area, somewhere in that region. I can't remember exactly where, but she was at a duel with her moms. What'd you say, Trip?
Minister, that's his hood.
Yeah, so she's in that vicinity. I can't call it exactly. She was at a Jewel. If you don't know what that is, that's a grocery store here in Chicago area. Everybody's a Jewel pretty much everywhere. So yeah. So she's at a Jewel, and her mama was like delayed coming out of the store, so she came out of the store before her mother with some groceries and was putting the groceries in the trunk. And all of a sudden, somebody pulled up, jumped out of the car, and tried to snatch her up. And she started hollering, screaming, and struggled with her, man. And she got away from him because some people in the area came running over there to see what was going on, but she barely got away. And that's the story. So she came back and she told me that story, and I'm just like, "Oh, damn." She told, it was so compelling, I knew she didn't make it up. And so I had to make a choice. I was just like, all right. I knew eventually I was going to have to call the police, right? And so I called the program manager, like the director, and I called her on the phone. I was like, "Hey, look, this is what the girl told me." And she was just like, the first thing you're supposed to do is call the police, call a detective. And I said, "I know that, but I just wanted to let you know what was going on before I do that." And she's like, "That's the right thing to do. I'm on my way." So she came up. I call her detective. Detective came out there. And so, long story short, the detective from this area got with the detective from that area over there. It's a particular area. I can't remember what it's called, but that particular area, the detective came down. Anyway, they tracked down the people that was doing it. Here's the moral of the story. If you have daughters or you have granddaughters, anything, whatever you got, nieces, whoever, pay particular attention to those kids, especially when they're young, even the adults. If you can't be there and monitor their movements, tap somebody else to do it. Make sure somebody's spot checking on them, because in a minute, in a blink, that child's life could be altered forever. I don't care if she's with her friends, her homegirl supposed to be staying the night here or there. Somebody better spot check on them, because they ain't safe out here. There's some heathens out here that don't care. This is in a public parking lot in front of everybody. Tried to snatch that girl up. And, long story short, I just wish you guys peace, prosperity in these holidays. Take care of your daughters. Really look after them, because in this day and age, man, there's a lot of heathens out here that would look to take advantage of your child, your grandchild, your family member, and put them into basically chattel slavery.
Well, that what you're talking about, not to elongate it, but it's relevant, because what happened is to these girls is happening around the world, where they're snatched up and forced to do things that they don't want to be wanting to do, and now they're slaves. Sure, sometimes the parents are on drugs or just want money, and they sell these kids, and the kids are kids, so they have no say in this matter. They don't know what's going on, and so a lot of people are just being taken advantage of in that situation, and it's messed up. But keep an eye out for the ones that are taking advantage of them and holler at them. I'm just saying. But that's happening, and it's something that we can all understand, we can all get behind, because we know somebody. There are people in our families who've been abused, not by strangers, but by their own family members. And so, yeah, that's bad. But to tie it into what we were talking about earlier with, the coyotes, the wolves, the birds of prey, human beings, those sadistic, bastards, take advantage of other human beings, the strong supposedly trying to dominate the weak and prey on them. And, it's all species. So, watch yourselves and understand that while it's bad, it's the animalistic way in all of us. So protect yourselves and love the ones that need to be loved, and protect the ones that need to be protected. Go ahead, Nomad.
No. I'm glad. I appreciate that, Trip, man. I just wanted to part that with some people here, man, because we get to live in our lives, and sometimes I ain't gonna say sometimes, a lot of times, that we get a little bit too comfortable with our children and our, whoever's in your care, and we forget that, man, it needs to be some spot checks. It really does take a tribe to really protect them, man, because they're so vulnerable out there, in particular the females. Young females, man, there's somebody. It's always somebody looking to grab them and keep them as their property, man. I'm telling you, dude, somebody out here is looking and peeping somebody you love. Sometimes it's always that person out there, or groups of people, man. And so I'm just saying that so people can be careful. Hopefully that can get to the forefront of your mind during these holidays, man. Keep particular care and take particular care of your young female family members, man, because they're those creatures of prey. They walk on two legs too.
I'd just like to add a little quick 2 cents. And something's wrong with the world. Back in the day, they used to say it takes a village to raise a child. And in them villages, if stuff like that was going on, everybody else would whoop them, like they would whoop a dude. Somebody would eat it. They would feel it. Can't just be snatching children out in broad daylight. The community would look at the child and the situation, be like, yo, and jump in there and whoop that dude. Hey, you can't be snatching kids. The world we live in today, people be like, hey, my kid.
Kids, you know how much work we had to put in just to get that lady through DCFS and get her just to get her access and a pass to be able to have a visit with her daughter. You know, if you know the DCFS system in the United States, once a kid gets in there and you lose parental rights, you know, it's a motherfucker to get them back. And we had to go through hell to get that lady some her rights. And so here's the conundrum. She came to me and wanted to talk to me privately to tell me, she wanted to tell me I don't want to go on visits no more. And, you know, first thing came to my head is, wait a minute, we just worked like dogs for months to get your mama parental rights back to make sure that you can go on this visit until she told me that story. Now I gotta, me and the clinical administrator, we gotta work together with the detectives. We didn't already call the police. Now we gotta trust the police to keep this from DCFS, right? We gotta trust them to keep this from DCFS. And we just got lucky during that little spell that we had some cool ass detectives that understood the situation and didn't screw this up for her mother, who would have been the actual culprit. You know, even though she didn't do nothing wrong, she was just trusting the situation, not realizing what was going on in her. And while that girl was in her care, she could have lost her rights again. And that was the conundrum right there, kid. So it was just, you know, that the situation kind of, I had forgotten about it until I saw that episode last night. And I was just like, I got to tell the No Maniacs, man, because everybody's got a daughter or some female family member that they should really be paying close attention to, man, because they
don't just limit it to the females, because they, you remember back in the day, was it the Romans or the Greeks in the Colosseum where they took little boys and taught them how to wrestle?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just a whole lot of going on in like the Ohio State wrestling team, you know, and those aren't even little boys. Those are college age kids, you know, who are being, you know, abused by adults who are sick in the head, and, you know, they need to be addressed by the community. That's all I'm saying about that. I mean, you know, the law. I don't mean the community, I meant the law. So, you know, it's not just women. It's not just girls. It's not just boys. It's old people, senior citizens, you know, who can't protect or defend themselves, and they're very needy, or because, you know, of physical ailments or what have you, and relatives of theirs, or, you know, people will be like, oh, you get a check? Oh, you know, we're going to abuse you and not give you the health care that you need and leave you sitting in your own feces, and we just going to get your check every month. You know, so it's the negative people that are on that bottom side of the coin who enjoy spreading pain and misery because their own fucking lives are so horrible, and that, you know, the not being empathetic or, you know, love, as far as they know it, is so twisted that they're inflicting that misery on the world. So yeah, you know, that's when you got to take care of your girls, your boys. And it's like, I know nowadays we don't know our neighbors like that, like we used to. But if you know that you see somebody that you speak to that look like decent people, look out for them. You know, because there will be a time when some motherfucker's going to have to look out for you. And you want that karma in your life, or at least I do.
Amen to that. And also, if you need to, call the police on trips too, because he looked like he getting ready to do something.
Hey. We don't all coming up in here now. We don't want to be even joking like that now.
He looked like he about to do something to Big Keisha on the screen now, and she's trying to eat a chicken in peace, man. You might have to call somebody on this.
I mean, it might be a noise complaint here or there, but it's all right. You know, she liked to listen to the R. Kelly shit. She listen to that no matter what the law say. And she liked to listen to a loud 12 play, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, and then when it's over, it's wintertime, you open that window and that cold air come in and you all sweaty. You get up under one of them fat rolls and it's nice and warm and moist and you just warm and it's like, oh, okay, Keisha. And then you get like another little crumb, you know, comes like, ooh, extra crispy. Oh, like, you know what I'm saying?
Not this goddamn fool, because we just ended on a good note, man. But Trip is, hey, look, man, I really do wish y'all happy holidays, and we won't be here on Christmas because everybody will be with their family. So we decided to open up the network and this private show that we do for the Super No Maniacs, and I hope you guys don't mind.
Yay!
Big Keisha. What up, PJ? Yeah, so I just wanted to end that on this note and make sure that you guys during this holiday season really, really watch out for your young family members, in particular the females, man, because they are the most vulnerable. Whether you want to see it that way or not, they are extra vulnerable, and you got to pay attention to them. But I'm going to leave you guys with these famous words that I used to say on a regular basis, man. But I'm going to do it just for the holidays for y'all, man, because I love y'all. I'm going to leave you with these famous words. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all. Per my guy, Dolomite. But thank y'all. We are out.
Peace. Oh, and maple syrup.